To the Home Run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you. Bulletins on GB News,
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel. I'm Bev Turner. Thank you for joining us on GB News, The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Britain is stepping up pressure on Russia with a major new package of sanctions.
And the Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer will unveil the measures at G7 in France this week, where support for Ukraine is set to dominate the talks.
Well, the package targets hundreds of Russian-linked vessels and the networks that are helping Moscow fund its war.
And Sir Keir Starmer's social media ban is labelled a rush job as critics speculate over how it will work.
Remembering what it is we've got in common, building that, nurturing it, that's something that we can all do.
10 years on since the murder of the MP Jo Cox, I spoke to her husband, Brendan Cox, amid calls for unity in the UK.
And the horses are ready, the hats are on, and Royal Ascot is underway as racing's biggest week begins with the traditional royal procession.
British troops are being put through their paces in the Californian desert, testing the latest military technology in conditions designed to mirror the battlefield.
And what do you make of this? Boiled eggs and tuna salads. Are your colleagues making the office an unbearable place? We're debating whether smelly foods should be banned from the office at 7:20.
And sport this morning with the World Cup. The biggest shock so far is Cape Verde draw with Spain. The French begin their campaign today, and FIFA want an explanation over the Australian ref's strange hand gestures.
There's some hot weather around across parts of the southeast today. Elsewhere, it's looking cloudier, cooler, and also a bit wet at times. I'll have more details coming up.
Good morning. It's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Apparently, we as Britons take more photos of our pets than we do our loved ones.
I wonder who that would be.
And it's me.
Yep.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's
definitely true.
I usually come in the mornings and Ellie's got, look at Monty, look at what he's doing this morning.
latest pictures of Monty. Yeah, but apparently we all do it. 2/3 of us have more pictures of our pets than we do of our partners, our children, or even our holiday moments together.
Yep.
More of half of us admit that seeing a picture of our pooch automatically improves our mood more than it would our partner.
But the thing is, I bet you've taken how many pictures? I've got pictures of Nellie asleep on the sofa. They're all the same. Over different. We go, oh, look.
But they bring
take another picture of that.
No, but they bring you so much joy.
Yes.
You stare at pictures all the time.
Let us know at home if you do that. gbnews.com/your side. I'd love to know. If you
I don't believe anybody doesn't do that.
I think
anybody
right.
with a dog or a pet or whatever, there'll always be more.
So cute, aren't they?
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, 44% of owners are taking at least 8 pictures a day.
8
That's
a day?
A lot, isn't it? Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is actually quite a lot.
We're a pet-loving nation.
We are a pet-loving
Yeah.
nation.
8 a day?
Anyway, that's what we think. gbnews.com/you'll say. Should we look at
Right,
the top story?
yeah, let's get on to the top story, shall we? Because more than 600 Russian-linked vessels will be hit with UK sanctions as Britain steps up its efforts to cut off funding for Putin's war in Ukraine.
Well, the move comes as G7 leaders gather in France, where the Prime Minister is expected to unveil these new measures.
Yeah, the package will target Russia's shadow fleet. That's bans of liquefied natural gas shipments and crackdowns on the financial networks Moscow uses to bypass Western sanctions.
Well, Deputy Editor of Spiked Online, Fraser Myers, joins us now. Morning to you, Fraser.
Good
Tell
morning.
us more about this package.
Yeah, so already we are sanctioning Russian ships, this shadow fleet. These basically they're ships that are carrying Russian natural gas and Russian oil. They have fake countries on them. They're often old ships. They're often uninsured. They often jam signals, so they're actually inherently dangerous when they're travelling through international waters to other ships. We've already been sanctioning them. People may have seen also on Sunday morning Marines actually boarding one of these ships and taking it to shore. These are basically the backbone of the Russian economy during a time of war and during a time of sanctions. They're being used to evade those sanctions. It is worth saying that, oil and gas are flowing from Russia. It's a huge oil and gas exporter, and that is despite all of the sanctions, all of the pressure being put against them by various Western countries. In fact, using ways of getting around the sanctions, Europe as a whole has been spending more on Russian gas during the Ukraine war than it has given to aid in Ukraine.
Wow.
So this is a big money spinner for the Russians, and it seems fairly logical that if you want to kneecap them, this is the way to do it.
And it comes at a time as well, where global oil shortages have happened due to the war in Iran, the Strait of Hormuz being closed, and many more countries becoming reliant on Russia and buying Russian oil and gas.
That's absolutely right, and also bizarrely at a time when the UK is winding down its own oil production. And this led to this bizarre situation a couple of weeks ago where momentarily it seemed as if the UK had lifted sanctions on oil, on Russian oil. So clearly, oil is very much needed at this time. We need as many allies to be producing it as much as possible at a time when we're trying to avoid using it from Russia, which is one of the great producers.
What do you make of it, the energy part of all of this? So the major energy deal to power Ukraine for the next 2 years through the supply of UK nuclear fuel. How will that go down with other European leaders today at the G7?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's worth saying that about a third of the uranium that is going to be supplied to Ukraine is going to come from the UK. People may not know that we have uranium enriching facilities, so it's going to come from the northeast. The Ukrainian power plants have been struggling. They need this additional help. I think the other G7 partners will not be too concerned by this. There's basically, Ukraine is big on the agenda during this G7. Even Trump has said he wants to get a deal. Mind you, he's always said that a deal is close. He would say that any day of the week. But he has said specifically yesterday that he thinks that a deal is on the way. Of course, the pressure will be on European leaders to try and persuade Trump that they should be supporting Ukraine, not just railroading them into an intolerable peace.
Yeah, when we do things like this, we put sanctions on, particularly such a massive country, powerful country like Russia. Do they retaliate against us, and what sort of things do they do?
Well, you can see in things like the essentially a kind of shadow war that's been going on. I mean, Keir Starmer himself has been targeted for arson. We saw from that case that that had been kept under wraps for very long, with the 3 Ukrainians hired via a mysterious sort of telegram operative. That's been linked back to the Russian government. So there's all kinds of sabotage and subterfuge going on. Russia is essentially trying to build an economy that doesn't rely so much on the West. They have their own, internet and communications and things like that. They're trying to get away from having to rely on our tools so that they can become kind of sanctions free. But of course there are retaliations, and I think that's probably why why many Western countries have been reluctant to fully enforce the sanctions, because the sanctions have been officially in place, but this is the first time, for instance, on Sunday was the first time anyone had intervened with the shadow fleet. So,
can we talk about a potentially awkward conversation that could take place at the G7? It will be between Keir Starmer and President Trump over this social media ban for under-16s, because the White House intervened, didn't they, last week, urging the UK not to impose this social media ban, and Keir Starmer's gone ahead?
So Keir Starmer's gone ahead. The White House actually has a number of bones to pick with the UK. So there's going to be a lot of awkward moments for Sir Keir Starmer over the coming week. So it's not just the social media ban, which of course affects US tech firms. We have to take a grain of salt Trump's claims that this is about free speech. I think there's a commercial interest being protected there. But also Trump is planning to essentially harangue Starmer over migration because he's noticed the Belfast attempted alleged stabbing, I should say. That became big news in the US, the riots became big news in the US, and they consider mass migration and particularly legal migration to Europe a national security issue. Now, as ever with Trump, he takes an issue that's true and then blows it up to ridiculous proportions. One of his spokesmen has says we do not want a Five Eyes country, that's the intelligence sharing committee between US, UK and various other partners. We don't want a Five Eyes partner to be run by a country with Sharia courts. Now, of course, there is absolutely no danger of the UK legal system becoming Islamic anytime soon. But is he right to say that the UK has an open border to illegal immigrants that can be exploited by foreign actors? It obviously has been by Iran, as well as the fact that there are many just lone nutters that are coming over to the UK and can cause serious damage. So Trump is right on one level that this is an issue that needs to be sorted, and it's a problem for the West as a whole, not just the UK or Europe.
Well, obviously Trump has been very successful in his deportation of illegal migrants, which has been a hot topic in America. That's actually becoming, by all accounts in polls, less of an issue in America now because people see see it being dealt with. Is there something that actually that Keir Starmer could learn from Trump if he listened?
Well, yeah, what a novel idea it would be to listen to the public who have been telling politicians for decades and probably as long as I've been alive that immigration is too high and it needs to be brought under control. I can't see Keir Starmer trying it, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, good point.
OK, Fraser, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next hour.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Fraser. Well, in the heart of California's Mojave Desert, British and American soldiers are training side by side in one of the toughest military environments on the planet.
Well, GB News reporter Will Mayrick has been on the ground with British forces.
In the vast deserts of California, British and American troops are taking part in a major military exercise designed to prepare them for modern warfare. Facing them is the Black Horse Regiment, a specialist US Army unit that plays the role of the opposing force. Major Alexander Humphreys, who is leading the British contingent, spoke to GB News during the exercise and explained how realistic the training environment is.
The most important thing about NTC is Black Horse Regiment, so 11th Armoured Cavalry Regiment. They are a professional opposing force. They know what our adversaries are going to do inside and out. So what you are facing is a really realistic replication of the enemy's threat. And that's not just ground forces, that is aviation, that is air, but most importantly, probably when we look at modern warfare, that's contests in the electromagnetic spectrum. It now offers probably one of the very best places in the world to train for modern warfare. It's getting technology that could be employed now or in the immediate future into the hands of soldiers and adapting through training how we fight. We know from Ukraine we've got to put this equipment, we've got to understand and compete in the EMS at the lowest level, at the baseline infantry cavalry soldier level. And we're putting that into practice here in a way that, we can't necessarily replicate as regularly as we'd like to in the United Kingdom.
Units from around the United States and UK have come here to the Mojave Desert to test future technologies which will shape warfare for decades to come.
We're learning lessons from what we've seen in Ukraine because we're realising that we need to see farther, create those areas of opportunity and then be able to strike the enemy faster. So at the moment the brigade are fighting a defensive action over in the east of the area here, and we're covering their western flank. So we've got a series of OPs in areas of high ground that overwatch the areas in front of them, because we're assessing whether the enemy is actually going to come round to the west, and we're closing the back door to make sure the enemy then don't come round. We'll detect something by ground-based radar or potentially electronic warfare transmissions as well. We'll be able to see what's going on in the electromagnetic spectrum. We can then fly a UAS over to go and confirm that it's there, and then once it's there we can then either call in a fire mission or call in mortars to then kill the enemy. And we haven't actually put anyone further forward than we're happy to, and we're keeping our people survivable and keeping them on the ground.
This is the moment Black Horse mounted an attack on coalition forces, a clear example of the intensity of the exercise. Spanning rugged mountains and vast desert terrain in an area 8 times the size of Salisbury Plain, Fort Irwin gives British forces the chance to test their capabilities in conditions as close to real-world combat as possible, alongside their American counterparts. This is the special relationship in action.
Thank you to Will Mayrick there for that report. Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible stuff. And also, it's good to see that our armed forces are out getting ready for, to protect the country. I think lots of people feel that our country is undefended at the moment, but forget how great they are. They're incredible.
And as Will was saying that's the special relationship at play.
Yeah, there you go.
Supporting us in preparing.
Certainly is. Shall we look at some other stories coming into the newsroom?
Yes, let's, because 8 closed grooming gang cases have been referred back to police forces for reinvestigation. The National Crime Agency is reviewing hundreds of files where potential lines of inquiry may have been missed.
And the captain of a Russian Shadow Fleet oil tanker has been charged after Royal Marines stormed the vessel in the English Channel. That's Ajay Pant is accused of breaching sanctions by transporting prohibited Russian oil products after a 6-hour operation supported by the RAF.
Former Health Secretary Wes Streeting says Britain has forgotten how to build and is promising emergency laws to get major projects moving faster if he were to become Prime Minister. He says new power plants, wind farms, data centres and transport schemes should be pushed through more quickly in order to boost growth.
All right, should we have a little update on the weather?
Let's.
Why not? Because it's been a bit mixed, hasn't it?
Has been a bit mixed. We're all suffering with our hay fever today.
Oh, so bad.
So let's get the update, shall we, with Alex Burkill.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. A fair amount of cloud and a fair bit of rain for many of us through today. Meanwhile, in the southeast, it's actually going to be pretty hot. That's because we had the best of the dry, sunny weather here. Not necessarily wall-to-wall blue skies. There'll be some hazy sunshine around, high-level cloud, that kind of thing. But a lot of dry, bright weather here. Across many northern and western parts, however, quite cloudy at times, and there will be some outbreaks of rain coming and going as well. Temperatures for many peaking in the high teens, low 20s, but towards the southeast, with that sunshine, we are going to see them getting into the mid to high 20s, so feeling pretty hot for some. Into the evening, staying quite cloudy across much of Scotland, a few outbreaks of rain. Worth noting, it could be a bit blustery at times for northern and western coastal parts in particular. It's a similar story for Northern Ireland, quite cloudy, a few bits of rain coming and going, nothing too heavy. Perhaps some more persistent rain affecting parts of Wales later on, but that will break up as we go through the evening and overnight. Showery bursts across parts of the southwest. Meanwhile, eastern areas staying dry for a little bit longer, but even here a bit of rain will arrive overnight and into Wednesday morning. Otherwise, through into Wednesday morning, quite wet across northern parts in particular, and then eventually towards the southwest, Devon and Cornwall seeing some more persistent rain arriving as we head towards dawn. Temperatures not dropping a huge amount, many places staying in mid-teens Celsius. We have warm air across us, and with all that cloud acting like a blanket, there's no reason for our temperatures to dip. Wednesday's then going to bring some more persistent rain coming in from the southwest across central southern parts of England, clipping into parts of Wales. That could be quite heavy as it pushes further eastwards, and it's going to keep temperatures down in the southeast compared to today. Further north and west, it's kind of a case of a few showery bursts, some sunshine in between, but once more temperatures getting into high teens, low 20s, that kind of thing. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, do stay with us still to come. The Prime Minister's social media ban for under-16s is being labelled by some as a rush job, and others are speculating how exactly is it going to work. We're going to get into all of that next.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter? So that's a very live question. Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Clearly, it's a terrible loss of revenue for Mr. Bezos there. But, you know, I guess it's part and parcel of the move forward to try to determine what possible anomalies there are.
Yes, it's parcel of the game, unfortunately, in rocketry and spaceflight in general. It was actually going to launch 48 satellites for Amazon next week, which obviously isn't going to happen. So they've got to try and get this solved because it is a critical element for the programme. More serious than that, though, however, is the damage that's been caused to the launch site, LC-36. This is the only launch site which can launch the New Glenn rocket. That's more serious than anything else, really, because that's got to be put back into place.
Well, that's what I was looking at, and also your very fetching jacket, I must say, which is very nice, very planetary. But look, I get the importance of this, but very briefly, so what? We can't do anything when we get to any of these planets anyway. We're just out there going, hey, and then we come back.
No. We could do an awful lot of work. There's a lot of research work to be done on the surface of the moon by scientists who can look at the evolution and development of the solar system, the evolution of the Earth, how the Earth actually formed initially, rare materials that we might find on the moon that we could use down here on Earth for our electronics industry. There's the development of the technologies themselves, which is all green tech, which you need on the moon, which you can use back here on Earth. To keep astronauts alive, you actually need new facilities to keep people protected against things like radiation and in difficult environments, and keeping them alive in a low gravity environment, and that's what leads to medical breakthroughs which will come back down here to the Earth. So the pushing forward of this kind of technology when we go forward actually helps our planet down here and helps the development of our species.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 20 minutes past 6. Now, major tech firms are warning that Sir Keir Starmer's social media ban for under-16s could push children into less safe corners of the internet.
Yes, the Prime Minister insists the measure is needed to protect young people's mental health, but Meta, YouTube and TikTok say they have already put safeguards in place and are calling for clearer guidance on how age checks would be enforced.
Well, joining us now is cybersecurity and digital forensics researcher Junaid Ali. Very good morning to you, Junaid. What do you make of this? What do you make of the criticism that this has been pushed through? Because Sir Keir Starmer was asked this yesterday in the press conference, wasn't he? Saying, look, we're fearful that it's been rushed through. He said that he's had parents calling for this for best part of a year now. He could have done it a year ago, and he thought, no, we'll do the consultation, we'll hear from a large pool of people, and then we'll make a decision. So his argument yesterday was it could have been a lot quicker than this, but we've taken our time to get it right.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite interesting on a few different levels. I mean, one of the things which, I did find a bit surprising is the fact that some of the high-risk services that we know come up quite a lot, and I've encountered quite a bit in a lot of work I've done in kind of criminal cases. haven't been covered by this ban, and ones where we know there's been particularly high risk to having child abuse kind of material on. So that's surprising on one level, and then the other aspect as well has been the scientific evidence around this is there isn't really the scientific evidence to prove that ban is beneficial at kind of a population level. We know there's very specific harms which are related to certain aspects of kind of using social media platforms, and we know there's certain groups who are at higher risk. So it is quite surprising as well that a more targeted approach hasn't been taken with this as well.
Yeah, Junaid, I guess a lot of people are very concerned about government overreach here, about their data and security, and we've seen how this has played out in other countries where people have had their identities cloned and their lives destroyed. Is there a serious risk here that we're handing over so much of our personal data to a small group of tech companies or perhaps even the government, and that more people could be put at risk of things like hacking in the future?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely this risk. There's something quite interesting as well. There was a paper which came out very recently about age verification, some of the privacy risks associated with this. And there's kind of been a lot of activity to try and silence the researchers behind that. There's been, I think, some of them have faced some quite threatening communication from some of the companies that offer kind of this identity verification services. So there is definitely an aspect to that as well that's kind of going around in the academic community at the moment.
I'm paraphrasing here, but the Prime Minister was talking yesterday in that press conference, and it was put to him that this would be a clampdown on free speech. And he was saying that he couldn't think of another example where we are exposing our children to dangers, to strangers having access to them like they currently do on the internet. Would you agree with that assessment?
I mean, in terms of there are absolutely massive risks that come with technology, and there's large-scale harms which do happen, and there's things which, in a lot of the work I do end up seeing. But there are also, huge benefits that come with technology. There are also things about preparing kind of children for adult life, which kind of need to be balanced with that. And I think we also kind of don't really understand the second-order harms of a lot of these measures in terms of, yes, moving people to more dark side of the internet, but also in terms of kind of digital social skills and other sorts of skills that people develop by this and preparing children for adulthood. So I think personally, what I would have liked to have seen more of is something which is more targeted to kind of the risks that we know are particularly bad and are really kind of the kind of really worst case harms. I mean, there's things we do see around things that do with, for instance, social comparison. We know that adolescent girls are more affected than boys, things like that.
Yeah, well, Junaid Ali, thank you so much for joining us this morning indeed. And the thing is, when it comes to this, Ellie, I know so many people are really concerned about it, and I totally understand where they're coming from, because when you hand over tools to the government, which, we all want to protect children. I don't think there's a question about anybody wanting to protect children. Of course we do. But it's, how can that be weaponised against people in the future? Is the cure worse than the disease, I think, is what people want to be reassured about. Is the cure only going to stay in this little bracket here where it's actually, we are just going to protect kids, we're not going to ask for more from you? I think that's where the concern for a lot of people is.
I suppose it depends, and this is where we need the detail, don't we? Liz Kendall is doing the government round today, we should say, but she isn't able to speak to GB News, unfortunately, because we do have these sorts of questions. But I guess it depends, doesn't it, how the age verification is done? Because if it's done by your card details, for example, well, many of us would already use things like that on our shopping website, I'll put it like that, or on social media platforms like X. If you're verified, for example, you may put in your ID or your card details. So we're already doing it in that sense. But if it is a backdoor for digital ID, well, that's where a lot of people have concerns, don't they, because it's so controversial as a scheme.
Yeah. Indeed.
Anyway, let us know what you think. You will have a view. gbnews.com/you'll say. It is hugely popular, though, isn't it? 9 in 10 parents want to see a full ban.
Yeah,
they
do.
can see how difficult this is for children.
Yeah, there you go. There you have it. Well, it's happening, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is. By spring next year, so let us know what you think.
Right, well, if you're travelling to work or school, here's your traffic and travel update. And don't forget, you can stay with us on digital and radio.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M9 eastbound remains closed after Junction 1 due to essential overnight planned maintenance. Drivers should avoid this section and seek alternative routes. In Greater London Authority, the M25 anti-clockwise entry slip at Junction 28 is fully closed following a vehicle fire, with all lanes blocked. Normal traffic flow is expected between 7:15 and 7:30 this morning. Meanwhile, on the M62 westbound near St Helens, all lanes are closed between Junction 8 and Junction 7 due to a road traffic collision. Authorities expect conditions to return to normal between 8:45 and 9 this morning. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Now, at 28 minutes past 6, it's time for our daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hello, my name is Nimsa Bunge, and I'm the pastor of Freedom's Ark, a member of the Evangelical Alliance here in the Tottenham Town Hall. Matthew chapter 10, verse 9 to 10 says, "Provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purse, for the workman is worthy of his meat." When Jesus sends out the 12, his instructions are striking. Take no gold, nor spare supplies, or extra provision. It seems counterintuitive to begin a mission without everything in place. Yet this is exactly how they are sent. The workman is worthy of his meat. In other words, what is needed will be provided for. This is not about carelessness, but it's about trust that provision can meet purpose along the way. As Hudson Taylor once said, God's work done in God's way will never lack God's supply. Many recognize the temptation to wait until everything feels secure, until every detail is settled. But often, if everything had to be perfect in the first place, very little will ever get done. The mission of the 12 reminds us that faith sometimes means taking the first step before the whole path is visible. The teaching still resounds today, whether in service, work, or new beginnings. Look, there are moments that trust must come before certainty. It's stepping out. The provision and the support and direction will be discovered over time. So let us pray. God of provision, give us courage to begin, trust to continue, guide our steps and provide us with what is needed for the journey ahead. Amen and amen.
What a lovely daily reflection, Annie. What did you take away from it?
It's a moment of calm in this crazy news cycle. I think everybody really appreciates it, don't they? We get so many messages from you every single morning saying, where's the daily reflection? You need that moment of calm and serenity. So thank you for that on this Tuesday morning.
And something that isn't a lot of, there's not much calm and serenity around is
I
the
knew
World
that was
Cup.
going to come to it, from calm.
It's short-lived. It's short-lived.
It is short-lived. You know what? In the World Cup yesterday, something happened for the first time since 1958. I'm not going to give you any clues. We will discuss in just a second.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At the stroke of midnight, the news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
day in, day out. Forget stuffy late-night TV shows. We're giving you a front-row ticket to the centre of the political universe.
Because breaking news doesn't wait for the morning.
And neither do we. Join us for one of the most controversial and volatile times of politics in human history.
A very big story.
Big story over here.
You won't get this anywhere else. The Late Show live at midnight, every night.
Only on GB News.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. Paul Coy is here with all of the sport. Paul,
did you like the cliffhanger though? At the end there, it was
yes.
quite the cliffhanger, was it? That's what you call the tease.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
It was the first time since 1958 that all 4 games on that day all were draws.
Wow.
First time since 1950. Isn't that unbelievable?
It is.
Well, anyway, let's talk about the games. The most important of all of them, and the one that's most exciting to everybody, is Cape Verde 0, Spain 0. Now, Cape Verde, we know Cape Verde, holiday destination in the Atlantic. You don't expect... You've got Spain, the European champions. You expect that Spain were going to win this easy. That's the goalkeeper. Now, the goalkeeper, he's the superstar there. And... his name's Vazinha, and there's Vazinha. How old? From looking at him, can you guess how old he is?
No.
What would you guess? I mean, it's not a birthday thing.
I bet he's younger than I think he is, isn't he?
What are you thinking? Around 60?
I'm not being horrible about it, but he looks a bit old. 60.
Can we see his face?
He's 40. He's 40. I'll tell you, he's 40. He's 40 years old.
OK, so no, I was right then.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. He's 40 years old, and he just had the game of his life. And he grew up with his grandparents. His mum couldn't afford a visa to go and watch him in the World Cup. He plays in the Portuguese second tier, but he was the hero of the day because they just kept Spain out. Now, what was the thing you mentioned to me about someone had a bet, right? This is incredible.
So there's a betting website, I won't name it, but there's a betting website. A bloke put $1 million down.
Wow.
With the odds being so high that Spain were going to beat Cape Verde.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
He was only going to make an 86,000 return on a $1 million bet.
Right.
Well, of course, what happened? He lost it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because they didn't win. They drew.
Can you imagine?
He's down over $900,000.
Because if it was ever going to be a cert, it would have been Spain against Cape Verde, surely. I mean, there was always some strange results in the first games in the World Cup. It always happens. But nobody saw that happening. And it was so exciting. And we got the celebrations. I mean, the people in Cape Verde were going bananas,
well,
as you
like
can imagine. I mean, it's huge. I mean, there we are. Look at this. And this is just for a 0-0. But it's just such an amazing result for such a small country, first time in the World Cup, and it was just fantastic. And this is what the World Cup's all about. All the stuff we hear about, ticket prices, all about the sponsorship, and it's all about money and FIFA. This is what it's all about.
National pride.
National pride and excitement, and it's great to see, it really is. So, anyway, next, they've got Uruguay to play and they've got Saudi Arabia to play. They drew 1-1, by the way, when they played each other. Belgium yesterday drew with Egypt, so that was 1-1. Iran drew 2-2 with New Zealand, so the first time since 1958, everyone was a draw. Wow. So a few games today. The French play Les Bleus. Play today.
Les Bleus.
Les Bleus. Today, they play Senegal, 8 o'clock. By the way, Didier Deschamps who's the manager of France. Here's another question for you. We've got a picture of Didier Deschamps. Is the only living, which is to do with the World Cup, the only living person to do what when it comes to the World Cup? He is the manager of France and has been for some time. So what could he be the only living person to actually achieve?
This is probably going to be...
when it comes to the World Cup.
When it comes to the World Cup.
Yes.
To have played and won in the World Cup and be a manager. Is that right?
On the money.
Oh, you...
Absolutely on the money.
How
Very good work.
Well, there you go.
Very good.
There you go.
Did you get any help?
No, I swear to God.
You're all on your own there?
Yes, yeah.
Because I was going to have a bet like the Cape Verde that you weren't going to get that, and I've just lost £1 million that you weren't going to get that right. But yeah, he's the only one still alive to actually have played in a World Cup winning team, captain of World Cup winning team in '98, and also he's manager of a World Cup winning team for France as well. Very good. Iraq play Norway. Erling Haaland, of course, will be playing for Norway. Argentina, Algeria, and Austria, Jordan. I mean, with respect, unless you're in Jordan or Austria, are you going to be up at 5 a.m. to watch that? I mean, we will be, because...
Well, we'll be here.
I'll be watching.
We'll be here. We'll have it on live.
But yeah, so that's that. Now, have you heard about the referee situation?
No.
I want to discuss this with you.
Oh, no, I did see a picture of this yesterday, but go on. Yeah,
this is a bit of a bizarre one. Now, there's what they do before the game is that they will show... Now, let's just have a look at that first. Now, look, there we are. Now, this is what they show before the game. They go, and now let's have a look at the VAR, and then they'll stand there, the officials, and have to stand there with their photograph taken, and they'll just stand and smile and look a bit embarrassed. Now, the guy on the left, now, he's an Australian. He's called Sean Evans. And this is before the Germany-Curaçao game. Now, have a look. You probably can't see his hand. I think we can probably zoom in on the hand. Now, look at that. See how bizarre that is, Ellie?
That's weird. What does that mean?
Well, it looks like it could be one of two things.
It looks like the OK.
Well, this is what you're kind of hoping. Hoping, because it's either the OK sign or it's an expression of white supremacy, which probably wouldn't be a good thing.
Can I say there is another option here?
Oh, is there?
There's a wild card, because I've seen that hand sign before, and you know, when I was growing up and I was in my teenage years, it was a game played by kids. Right, where this, if you would basically...
You're doing it hiding, we can't see it.
Yeah, I can't. If you did this on your leg... you would have to then do it to someone else until the next person spotted it.
Oh, I think you probably could have worked this out.
And I think that's what this is. I don't think it's white supremacy.
There's no way that even if, you know what, and the biggest white supremacist in the world is not going to go on there and do a sign when he's like VAR for the height of his career. It ain't going to happen.
It was just a stupid game when we were kids, and I remember it. That's when I saw it, and I was like, I think people are losing their minds over absolutely nothing here.
So do you reckon possibly someone said to him, I dare you to just do that and then see if someone else will do it?
It's a little bit immature, but, you know, maybe it's one of those things in your friendship group that just never ended.
Because you're not going to OK, are you?
No.
There's no point. So if everything's... And I hope everything is cleared up and everything's fine, he gets to do it again. Next time you see him, he's going to be standing either like that or just going...
I think he might not be standing in the background next time. I think,
it's going to be some second-tier game in Bulgaria that he's going to be officiating in, but with respect to Bulgaria, of course. But I think you probably got it.
I think that's what it is. Could be wrong, though, right? You know, stranger things have happened in this world.
But you have been known to be wrong once or twice in the last 20 years. But this time, I think you're probably right. I think that makes sense to me. Very good.
Let's hope it is just a game.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
Thanks, Paul.
Pleasure.
Paul.
All right.
Now, just time to tell you about the Great British Giveaway, and time is ticking on your chance to win our big cash prize of £76,543.21 precisely.
It is, and it's totally tax-free cash, so you can do whatever you want with it, and it's summer as well. So imagine where you could go. You could go to get a nice sandals resort, or many other resorts available.
Other resorts are available.
Yeah, you can fly business class. I mean, that's a bit of an incredible thing to be able to do.
Have a lovely holiday.
Who would want to do such a thing?
I know.
Well, anybody,
coach.
Economy with everyone else. Nothing wrong with that. Sit down the back.
Anyway, Hayley Sparks has got all the details for you.
There's just 2 weeks left to make your summer sensational, as we're giving you the chance to win a simply stunning £76,543.21 in tax-free cash. That's cash that could go towards family treats, spectacular summer days out, or give you the chance to chill out and relax somewhere like here, the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos. You really could be our next big winner with a whopping £76,543.21 in your bank. But hurry, there's just 2 weeks remaining.
for a chance to win £76,543.21 in tax-free cash. Text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now, do stay with us. Still to come, we're talking about this story all morning, aren't we? Are pets taking over our camera roles? 2/3 of Brits say they have more pictures of their animals than their loved ones.
We'll see if we can get a picture of Monty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love sharing pictures of Monty.
And we're here with Chloe Dobbs and James Rampton to do the papers with us. But first, here's the forecast for our top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
A heatwave is building across western parts of Europe at the moment, and that heat is going to be pushing further eastwards through the next few days. Whilst there is a lot of sunshine mixed in with it, and temperatures therefore getting into the mid to high 30s, possibly even low 40s, with that heat, worth bearing in mind, we could see some hefty thundery downpours developing across, well, many areas. Some heavy or more persistent rain affecting Greece as well through tomorrow. Otherwise, it's looking largely dry, often sunny and hot through the end of the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Veterinary surgeons and such as yourself, I mean, you're very, very highly trained, but it just feels so expensive when there's something wrong with your animal. And it does also seem that insurance doesn't cover the very things you need.
There's been huge advancements in veterinary medicine. 20 to 30 years ago, we had no CT scanners in practice. We had no MRI machines. Our blood tests were very rudimentary. And for that, you could do that very cheaply. Now we can offer you this incredibly high level of care that comes at a high cost. Everybody wants this extremely high level of care for their pet. Of course, you want the best for your pet. But there's nobody else to pay for that. So if you can be honest and say, I can't do that at that amount of money, we'll find you a way. Yeah. We will.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Lovely to see them all looking rather laid back and informal, wasn't it?
Yes, you know, we're used to all of these grand royal events, and although this was undoubtedly the society wedding of the year, a very low-key event, they deliberately wanted to keep it as a private affair as much as one can when one is a member of the royal family, of course. But it was a private ceremony, it was very intimate, and that's really the way that they've lived, that Peter Phillips has lived his life recently, and I think he wants to continue that. Interesting to note also that in this modern age, this is a blended family at this marriage, because they're both entering this as their second marriage. Of course, Peter Phillips previously married to Autumn Kelly, with whom he has 2 daughters, Savannah and Isla, who are 15 and 14. They were bridesmaids.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Dorothea, how does it feel being here today, joining other veterans?
It's marvellous, because for years after the war ended, nobody knew that women had even done anything during the war. And also, they suddenly discovered that, good heavens, women have got brains. They can think for themselves and for the country. And it was naturally assumed that everybody would willingly do their bit for England. And they would have. We had one purpose in life, which was to free the world from Nazism.
The People's Channel.
Welcome back to GB News Breakfast. It's 6:47. Now, this year we are celebrating 5 years of GB News. And on the 6th of August, we're going to be holding events across the country. And we want you to join us.
Yes. Save the date in your diaries. And if you want to be the first to hear about the plans and how to get involved, you can scan this QR code on the screen right now, or you can visit gbnews.com/celebrate. It's going to be fun.
Have you two managed to find a cupcake yet in the office?
No.
There's some in a box
nice?
in the kitchen. Yeah, lovely. I had one at 4 a.m. We've got really nice cupcakes for our 5 years, so there are a few left. So, so everyone knows. Go get yourself one.
Making all the viewers hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry now.
James Ramsey and Chloe Dobbs were going through the papers together. Let's have a look at the stories that you've got here in front of you. James, Starmer's social media ban is a rush job.
Yes, this is the Telegraph's take on it. However, I would say it's actually a very good idea. They did a substantial consultation with 100,000 people, and the result was 9 out of 10 parents were in favour of a ban. Researchers recently suggested that children spend less time outside than prisoners. So there's definitely weight behind the idea that children who are being deliberately addicted to these systems are being given a chance by this. They're being given a chance to rediscover their childhood, if you like. You know, I am sadly old enough to remember playing with wooden toys, and I went around on a penny farthing, obviously. But, you know, in the olden days, people would go out and play on the street. I know that's not a thing anymore, but just go out and go for a walk in the park, meet your friends there. Don't just obsessively scroll, because it's designed to be addictive, and once you're addicted to it, you'll never get off it. So I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, I guess for me, again, I was having a bit of back and forth with some people online yesterday about this, because I of course believe we need to protect children, and I understand the detrimental impact social media is having on them. However, my concern is, as always, again, it's like the COVID jabs. Is the cure going to be worse than the disease? And that's what people worry about. Is it going to get to a position where actually we all are subject to more government overreach, more government control to protect a few?
Well, it may well do, and it would be helpful if Starmer came out with this announcement with a plan where he could tell us how on earth this is going to be implemented. But, I mean, it's being branded a rush job. It's quite clear that he knows that he's on the ropes. He knows his premiership is coming to an end, and he feels he needs to do something quickly. And it is very common that we saw it with Rishi Sunak, that prime ministers will ban things out of desperation when they realise they actually haven't achieved any of their aims in government, because it's so much easier to ban something than to actually create something. We saw it with Rishi Sunak saying, oh, we'll ban the disposable vapes and we'll start banning smoking gradually. And it seems like it's the same from Keir Starmer. And I think you're right that it could potentially do more harm than good, not just on the potential digital ID that we might get, but I think it's short-form content that is the thing that is like a drug. It's super addictive. But long-form content on YouTube, for example, can be super helpful. When I was studying for my GCSEs and A-levels, YouTube was my teacher. Yeah. If you want to learn guitar or look at people who are great mentors and great people to listen to who will inspire you, YouTube is absolutely fantastic for that, and I would hate for that to be taken away from children. So I think if we can change social media so that, let's say for under 16s, there's a toggle where you can say no short-form content, long-form only, I think that would be a good thing and maybe more reasonable.
Yeah, it's all in the details,
for adults too,
which we're waiting for. But there is agreement across the board, isn't there? I mean, the Conservatives have been calling for an all-right ban for a long time now. Yeah. They're saying it's a totally Conservative measure. They're not for the nanny state, but they're saying something needs to be done to protect children. Reform UK have had to change their tune on this as well. They've gone from saying that they don't like the idea of a ban to saying that the onus has to be on the tech companies to protect children.
Yes, I mean, if we say, oh, well, the tech companies have to change their ways, that's never going to happen. Their whole model is based on making people addicted. Their customers are supposed to stay on their product for longer and longer. So if you say to them, oh, please make it less addictive, it's like, you know, cigarettes in the old days, they were never going to say, oh, well, we'll make them not addictive, because the whole point was that you buy more and more of them. So I don't think that's going to happen. Also, YouTube Kids is exempt from this ban, so it will be possible for children to access YouTube Kids, and perhaps that will steer them away from some of the more harmful ideas. Also, if you listen to some of the parents whose children, very tragically, have been driven towards taking their own lives by things they've seen online, you know, you have to think, goodness me, even saving one life has got to be worth it.
Right, yeah, well, I guess that there's so much discussion about this, and we'll continue having this debate over the next hour or so, but I want to move on to another topic here, Chloe, because Reform's got some new policies.
Yes, so they are going to cut the national insurance that you have to pay if you are hiring domestic workers. So they're basically going to reverse the hike that Rachel Reeves did. So if you're hiring someone domestically, it's going to reduce from 15% to 13.8%, which sounds brilliant. It will force force employers to employ more British workers after many years of a lot of people feeling frustrated that their jobs are being taken by foreign workers. But of course, the question is, how do you pay for it? So the Treasury have estimated that this is going to cost £11.2 billion. When it comes to how Reform are going to fund things, they'll often refer to things like a net stupid zero, as they will call it. But when they've just said that the money from that perhaps ought to go to defence, maybe there's not going to be money for tax cuts to national insurance. But, I mean, the world is changing rapidly, so it's hard to know if and when Reform got into government how much of a demand for a strong army there would be at that point.
Yes, good point.
Right, you two, we've got a minute left. Do you take more pictures of your pets than you would your significant other? Chloe?
Yes, I mean, I don't have a significant other, but there are definitely... my camera roll is probably 90% my dog, and I have no shame in that. He's my child, my baby, and he matters more to me than any human ever will.
Who's that? That's
Monty.
That's Monty.
Oh, really?
My baby.
Oh, that's gorgeous. What
Look
a
how
brilliant
handsome
photo.
Can I just say, guys, that my sister took him to a garden centre this weekend. That's where he is, in the garden centre. And the lady working in the garden centre said, "Can I have a photo of your dog?" And she took that photo.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. So he is that handsome, where people stop him in the street.
James, you got any pets?
We do have a cat, but he's very, very elusive. I think he's a bit like a sort of Hollywood film star saying, no, you have to speak to my agent if you want to have a photo. Also, I've got a wife and 3 children, and I think if I said to them, actually, my cat is far more important than you, divorce would beckon.
Oh, well, very wise. Thank you very much, Chloe and James. See you in 45 minutes.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. A fair amount of cloud and a fair bit of rain for many of us through today. Meanwhile, in the southeast, it's actually going to be pretty hot. That's because we had the best of the dry, sunny weather here. Not necessarily wall-to-wall blue skies. There'll be some hazy sunshine around, high-level cloud, that kind of thing, but a lot of dry, bright weather here. Across many northern and western parts, however, quite cloudy at times, and there will be some outbreaks of rain coming and going as well. Temperatures for many peaking in the high teens, low 20s, but towards the southeast, with that sunshine, we are going to see them getting into the mid to high 20s, so feeling pretty hot for some. Into the evening, staying quite cloudy across much of Scotland, a few outbreaks of rain. Worth noting, it could be a bit blustery at times for northern and western coastal parts in particular. It's a similar story for Northern Ireland, quite cloudy, a few bits of rain coming and going, nothing too heavy. Perhaps some more persistent rain affecting parts of Wales later on, but that will break up as we go through the evening and overnight. Showery bursts across parts of the southwest. Meanwhile, eastern areas staying dry for a little bit longer, but even here a bit of rain will arrive overnight and into Wednesday morning. Otherwise, through into Wednesday morning, quite wet across northern parts in particular, and then eventually towards the southwest, Devon and Cornwall seeing some more persistent rain arriving as we head towards dawn. Temperatures not dropping a huge amount, many places staying in mid-teens Celsius. We have warm air across us, and with all that cloud acting like a blanket, there's no reason for our temperatures to dip. Wednesday's then going to bring some more persistent rain coming in from the southwest across central southern parts of England, clipping into parts of Wales. That could be quite heavy as it pushes further eastwards, and it's going to keep temperatures down in the southeast compared to today. Further north and west, it's kind of a case of a few showery bursts, some sunshine in between, but once more temperatures getting into high teens, low 20s, that kind of thing. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M9 eastbound remains closed beyond Junction 1 due to maintenance. In Darlington, the A1M northbound between Junction 59 and Junction 60 is closed following a collision, with normal traffic expected after 7:10 this morning. Hampshire's A31 eastbound has one lane shut between the A33 8 North Junction and the M27 due to an abandoned vehicle. And on the trains, there are disruptions with Avanti West Coast between Preston and Lancaster and Chiltern Railways through Rickmansworth. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
There's just 2 weeks left to grab a chance to live the summer of your dreams. With a totally tax-free £76,543.21 in tax-free cash to be won. Someone really has to win it, and it could be you.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Britain is stepping up pressure on Russia with a major new package of sanctions.
The Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer will unveil the measures at G7 this week at France, where supporters for Ukraine set to dominate the talks.
Well, the package targets hundreds of Russian-linked vessels and the networks helping Moscow fund its war.
Sir Keir Starmer is here in the Alps in France near Evian. We're meeting later today with Donald Trump. What will they discuss? Ukraine, certainly, but maybe with this social media ban. Anything can happen. The G7 starts today.
Remembering what it is we've got in common, building that, nurturing it, that's something that we can all do.
And 10 years on since the murder of the MP Jo Cox, Ellie spoke to her husband Brendan Cox last night amid calls for unity in the UK.
The horses are ready, the hats are on, and Royal Ascot is underway as racing's biggest week begins with the traditional royal procession.
Boiled eggs and tuna salads. Are your colleagues making the office unbearable? We're debating whether smelly foods should be banned from the office at 7:20.
And sport this morning with the biggest shock of the World Cup so far. Cape Verde drew with Spain, along with 3 other draws yesterday. Bukayo Saka says he's pretty much fit for Croatia tomorrow. And who are the tidiest football fans in the world, bar none?
There's some hot weather around across parts of the southeast today. Elsewhere, it's looking cloudier, cooler, and also a bit wet at times. I'll have more details coming up.
Good morning. It's 7 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Right, I've got a call out here for pronunciations.
Right,
gbnews.com/you'll say they're very good at telling us how to say things.
Right.
So, is it Cape Verde or Cape Verde?
Cape Verde, surely.
I've
It's always
heard
been
Cape Verde on the radio this morning, just throwing it out.
Did you? Well, you shouldn't be listening to that.
By more than one person.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was probably one person, then they probably felt bad for the other person. So they didn't want to go against the other person because the other person was more senior, so they thought, I better not say that.
But we're not in an era where everyone's changing the names of things. Like Turkey's now Turkey, isn't it?
Well, it's not. It's
Turkey.
Well, it is, Ellie. It is actually. How dare you mispronounce that country?
Well, I'd say Turkey.
Yeah,
You'd
I'd say.
What would you say?
No, I say Turkey as well.
You wouldn't say
but they want you to say Turkey, so maybe it's Cape Verde. They say.
You're saying tequila. That's a drink. It's not tequila.
Have you started saying
tequila? It's not that. That's something. No, it's.
What was the right way? Say
Turkey.
Turkey.
Or
Czechia.
which is Czech Republic.
And are you doing that?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
See, this is where it all gets really confusing. I think we
Fraser-
just need to stop changing things.
Fraser, you know everything about everything.
Yeah.
Cape Verde or Cape Verde?
It's Cabo Verde.
It's none of them.
But it doesn't matter because I think it's quite.
You're right.
No, when people ostentatiously pronounce the foreign names of things in the foreign way,
in a foreign accent as well.
The BBC does it all the time, especially when it's Kyiv instead of Kiev or whatever, or particularly in Middle Eastern names, they'll say like Islamabad or whatever, and they don't do it for European ones. They don't say Paris, they don't say Berlin. It's just weird.
No, I totally agree.
Just say it with an English accent. It's fine.
Leipzig is really
Leipzig.
Leipzig. It's like, come on, for goodness sake.
Right.
Ascot.
Just one more for you very quickly. Ascot or Ascot?
Tequila.
Ascot or Ascot? As the sports.
Ascot.
Ascot.
See, when I've covered it for a few years now for GB News, and they tell you straight up it's Ascot, said with the U.
It's like a waistcoat. It's west.
People need to get lives.
Fraser, any words on Royal Ascot?
No view on Royal Ascot.
No views.
I want to call Turkey tequila. I will.
Tequila.
Right.
Tequila should probably be wrong.
/YourSay. Let us know what you think.
All right, well, look, this is quite a serious one, isn't it? Because more than 600 Russian-linked vessels are going to be hit with UK sanctions as Britain steps up efforts to cut off funding for Putin's war in Ukraine.
Well, the move comes as G7 leaders gather in France, where Keir Starmer is expected to unveil these new measures.
Yes, the package will target Russia's shadow fleet, banning liquefied natural gas shipments and crackdowns on financial networks Moscow uses to bypass Western sanctions.
Well, let's speak now to GB News' political editor, Christopher Hope, who joins us live now from Evian. Very good morning to you, Chris, live from the Alps for us. Tell us a bit more about this package.
Yes, this is an attempt by Sir Keir Starmer to put pressure on Russia in two different ways, increasing the amount of LNG tankers which are being sanctioned by the government. Of course, we saw one of those tankers being boarded by UK forces over the weekend. More of that, it seems, from the government. More details to be announced later. They can't announce too much in advance to avoid Russia trying to avoid them. That's why we have scant details at the moment. Also, support for Ukraine, keeping them more warm in the winter. The UK is going to pledge £210 million for enriched uranium for Ukrainian nuclear power stations. So those two things being announced today by Sir Keir Starmer here in the Alps. I'm 3,000 feet up here in somewhere called Morzine, about 2 hours from Evian. We'll be driving there later. The media are kept some way away from where the world leaders are gathering, but who is there is Donald Trump, who landed last night. He met with Sir Keir Starmer last night also in Evian, the first meeting they've had in person since the UK refused to take part in the war with Iran. We're not entirely sure how that meeting went. We'll get a readout later when we speak to the Prime Minister. But yes, anything can happen here. Immigration, of course, on the cards. We know the US administration is critical of the UK for what they see as an open border approach towards immigration. But also other issues could come up too. Free speech. Why is the UK banning children under 16 from using social media? There's US tech giants. They're American, of course. They may see it as an attack on American companies. That may emerge later on.
Yeah, Christopher, I guess the question many people have is, are our relations with the United States of America falling apart, because not only, of course, has the President of the United States been quite tough on even his own country providing support to Ukraine, which, of course, most of Europe, his allies, are very keen on, but he's also coming down on us quite hard, including his vice president, on immigration. Do you think that this G7 might unveil further splits in these alliances?
Well, it might well do that, Alex. The meeting this morning, the first session when they have a round table, is discussing security for Europe and Ukraine. Now, the US will look at that and go, well, you say security for Europe, but you're not really controlling the borders of people arriving in Europe, and they see the immigration in our country and also European countries as a security issue. So that may well come up then, and we'll see how that plays out. Of course, Sir Keir Starmer is away on the world stage. He has been nicknamed, maybe unfairly, Never Hear Keir, but he has to be here. He can't really not be in these global summits. So he's here this week. But of course, the end of the week could look very different. If Andy Burnham comes back as the MP for Makerfield in a Makerfield by-election, there could be a leadership challenge for him as soon as this weekend, or certainly talk of one, and that could certainly destabilise him. In many ways, this feels a bit like a legacy trip for Sir Keir Starmer. He's brought with him Lady Starmer, Victoria, his wife. The last time she was on a trip was at the NATO summit in July 2024, shortly after the general election. So there's a feeling, certainly with the announcement yesterday about social media, that the PM is getting ready for, if he's forced out, he can point to things he achieved during his time in office.
OK, Christopher Hope, thank you very much. Let's speak now to Deputy Editor of Spiked Online, Fraser Myers, who joins us in the studio now. Morning to you, Fraser.
Morning.
Do you get a sense that Sir Keir Starmer is in his legacy-building era?
It does feel that way. I mean, I think he's going to enjoy these last few trips abroad, but also, you know, there's the social media ban, which could blow up at this G7 summit. That feels like it's been very rushed through in order to secure a legacy for the Prime Minister. So, you know, we will know differently on Friday. We'll know whether there is a potential challenger to his leadership, or whether the Labour Party will sort of stagger on with Sir Keir at the helm, or perhaps there'll be another challenger. But it does feel like things are coming to an end. This is the kind of swan song of the Prime Minister.
When it comes to things like the social media ban as well, which I'm sure, as you said, will be widely discussed, it feels to me like there is this thing, and I was saying to Christopher, because it does feel like there's this growing split between America and Europe, particularly on the priorities and what they believe in. Last night, Emmanuel Macron tweeted about the social media ban here in the UK, saying, welcome to the movement. Yeah. Well, America is very not much part of that movement, is it?
That's true. I think with the teen social media ban, you could say that there's a commercial aspect to this, so America wants to protect its big companies. But you're undoubtedly right. There is a big philosophical divide on some of the key issues of our time, free speech being one of them. Most infamously, you know, J.D. Vance came to dress down the European leaders at the Munich Security Conference a few years ago, telling them that they're failing on free speech, failing to uphold basic democratic norms and rights, which was a pretty extraordinary speech. I mean, he was absolutely right, of course. You know, the UK is very poor, free speech is in a very poor place at the moment. We have 30 people arrested every single day for what they post online, only under one of the many speech laws that we have. Huge numbers of people in opinion polls feel constrained that they can't express their true opinions. So that's clearly a problem. Migration is another big split. I wouldn't say that there's a split between the American people and the British people, or the European people, but certainly between our elites. Donald Trump has said migration is a massive security threat, and that actually he sees it as undermining the UK's social cohesion. He says there could be a point where he might not trust us as a security partner, as a Five Eyes partner. In classic Trumpian style, he's, you know, taken things the extra mile and said he doesn't want a country that has Sharia law in the Five Eyes, referring to the UK. Now, obviously, we're not at risk of becoming Islamised in the way that Trump fears, but clearly there is a security problem with the open border, with, you know, I think it's now 200,000 small boats have arrived since 2018, no security vetting. We see the results of that in you know, the alleged knife attack in Belfast. Clearly, there are very, very, you know, big security implications for this, and, you know, America finds it bizarre that the UK and Europe don't want to get a grip on it.
On this social media ban, there is criticism this morning that this has been potentially rushed through. The Prime Minister was asked this yesterday at this press conference, and he said, actually, there have been calls for this for well over a year since he took office. And instead, it's been put out to public consultation, the second largest public consultation in history, and they've taken their time to get things right. But we're still waiting on detail, aren't we? What do you make of this argument that it's been rushed?
Well, I think it's clearly being rushed in order to meet the timetable and essentially to be announced before Keir Starmer's departure. I think everyone is right to suspect that that's what's going on. You know, Australia has a social media ban. It's had it for just nearly a year. It would make sense that a country like that, we should watch and wait to see whether actually are there any effects on children. Does it improve their mental health? Does it improve their attention spans? Does it work? All the evidence from Australia suggests that it doesn't, that actually 7 in 10 teenagers under 16s are still using the social media accounts that are officially banned by the government. And I think rather than learning from that, the government has barreled into something that it thinks will be popular. It might be popular for now, but I think people will soon find ways to get around it. They haven't really thought. Keir Starmer made this bizarre analogy. He said, well, some children smoke cigarettes and some children drink alcohol, and we still ban those. But social media isn't actually those things. It's extremely useful 99% of the time. There are, of course, bad things that happen on there. And, a lot of children's social lives are taking place on there. A lot of their learning takes place on social media. They've banned YouTube, which I think is a sign that it's been rushed. What's the difference between YouTube and Netflix, really? Why should a child be stopped from watching long-form video content that is already age-restricted anyway?
Yeah, there's lots of discussions about things that are on even YouTube Kids, which won't be part of this, which is very vibrant, very addictive for young children. We see the kids with the iPads all the time, but we're not doing anything about that. And I think this is where people get concerned about the implementation of this and the consideration around whether this policy actually is the right one in the long run. But we'll see, won't we? Fraser Myers, thank you very much for joining us.
Now, 13 minutes past 7. Let's take a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom this morning.
8 closed grooming gang cases have been referred back to police forces for re-investigation. The National Crime Agency is reviewing hundreds of files where potential lines of inquiry may have been missed.
Questions are growing over President Trump's claimed Iran peace deal. This after J.D. Vance said the document is still only a broad framework. The president says the agreement has already been signed, but his VP says many of the details on Iran's nuclear program and sanctions relief still need to be worked out.
And the government has objected to a £10 billion rescue deal for Thames Water, pushing Britain's biggest water company closer to temporary nationalisation. Ministers say the offer from the company's lenders does not do enough to protect customers or the environment, while Thames Water is at risk of running out of cash within months.
Now, we should just say, coming up to 7:15, that the Makerfield by-election is taking place on the 18th of June. The candidates announced so far are Andy Burnham, the Labour Party, Alan Howe-Loud Hope, the official Munster Raving Loony Party, Robert Kenyon, Reform UK, Rebecca Shepherd, Restore Britain, Michael Winstanley, the Conservative Party, Jake Austin, the Liberal Democrats.
Dan Clark, the Libertarian Party, Peter Mark Ward, the Rejoin EU Party, Sarah Wakefield, Green Party, Ed Gemmell, the Climate Party, Robert Pownall, Independent, and John Alfred Dyer, Independent, or Richard Gould, Independent, and Count Binface Party.
Now let's get a check on your weather with Alex Burkill.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. A fair amount of cloud and a fair bit of rain for many of us through today. Meanwhile, in the southeast, it's actually going to be pretty hot. That's because we had the best of the dry, sunny weather here. Not necessarily wall-to-wall blue skies. There'll be some hazy sunshine around, high-level cloud, that kind of thing. But a lot of dry, bright weather here. Across many northern and western parts, however, quite cloudy at times, and there will be some outbreaks of rain coming and going as well. Temperatures for many peaking in the high teens, low 20s, but towards the southeast, with that sunshine, we are going to see them getting into the mid to high 20s, so feeling feeling pretty hot for some. Into the evening, staying quite cloudy across much of Scotland. A few outbreaks of rain. Worth noting, it could be a bit blustery at times for northern and western coastal parts in particular. It's a similar story for Northern Ireland. Quite cloudy, a few bits of rain coming and going, nothing too heavy. Perhaps some more persistent rain affecting parts of Wales later on, but that will break up as we go through the evening and overnight. Showery bursts across parts of the southwest. Meanwhile, eastern areas staying dry for a little bit longer, but even here, a bit of rain will arrive overnight and into Wednesday morning. Otherwise, through into Wednesday morning, quite wet across northern parts in particular, and then eventually towards the southwest, Devon and Cornwall seeing some more persistent rain arriving as we head towards dawn. Temperatures not dropping a huge amount, many places staying in mid-teens Celsius. We have warm air across us, and with all that cloud acting like a blanket, there's no reason for our temperatures to dip. Wednesday's then going to bring some more persistent rain coming in from the southwest across central southern parts of England, clipping into parts of Wales. That could be quite heavy as it pushes further eastwards, and it's going to keep temperatures down in the southeast compared to today. Further north and west, it's kind of a case of a few showery bursts, some sunshine in between, but once more temperatures getting into high teens, low 20s, that kind of thing. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
All right, still to come. Boiled eggs and tuna salads. Are your colleagues making the office an unbearable place?
Yes, we're debating whether smelly foods should be banned from the office. That's next.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline.
Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 21 minutes past 7. Now, a new study has found that more than 8 in 10 office workers and students eat their lunch at their desks during the working week.
Yeah, but if you've ever tried to concentrate and suddenly caught a whiff of tuna, eggs or a bit of leftover cabbage, what about that? It's pretty distracting, isn't it?
Yeah, so with so many people eating their lunch at their desks, we're asking this morning, is it time to ban smelly lunches from the office?
Yes, we've got Chef Jameson Stocks here and journalist Andy Jones. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Jameson, let's start with you. Should we ban it from the office? Should we ban smelly foods?
100%. Yeah. 100%. Honestly, I think it's so disrespectful if you're sat next to someone and the food smells. It's like, yeah, it makes me feel quite sick.
Do you find do you find you lose concentration if you were sat there on your laptop and is that what it would do to you?
Well, first of all, it would annoy me, because, I think it's quite disrespectful, really. And even, like, noisy eaters I find quite disrespectful as well, especially if you're in a quite closed office, you know.
What do you think the worst culprits are in terms of food items that should be banned?
Tuna's not a great one.
Tuna's not great.
Tuna's not great.
Curry?
Leftover curry, anything really. I mean, even cheesy crisps kind of smells really bad.
Jameson doesn't want any of us to eat our lunch in the office.
No, and Jameson's a chef as well. I mean, he must be going mad in his workplace. But just to say, one person's smelly is another person's divine, isn't it? I will say that, yes, I would like all annoying, smelly and noisy eaters to be thrown into some sort of office gulag. But how do you define what is smelly and what isn't? So I'm OK with sort of curry and a lot of different fishes and things, but I can't stand the smell of balsamic vinegar. When I go in a restaurant,
really?
I want to smell it in the restaurant. Absolutely disgusting. And it's doused in everything. And I think people wear balsamic as a cologne now in the office. It's everywhere. But I just think it's very, very difficult to ban this sort of thing. It's very, very difficult to monitor it. And you'd have to have some sort of office worker in a tabard going around what's smelly and what isn't, like a fire marshal, but for smells.
It'd be the HR team, wouldn't it? It'd be the office police.
Well, you'd have someone walking into the office kitchen and going, "Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff, that curry's a bit borderline. Sue, is that corned beef pasty off
but they
or
can't
not?"
smell it themselves. I mean, if they've got something smelly, just go outside and eat it.
Yeah.
My husband's office actually has an HR team and they have an HR announcement: no fish in the office. So if there's leftover salmon or something, can't take it into work?
Yeah, well, certain foods linger more than others, don't they, as well?
Yeah.
We've got a few microwaves here sometimes.
It just goes through the kitchen.
Yeah, and it wafts through the office, and I know there's some people that go going, oh, like that. Some people don't mind, because this is one of our viewers just wrote in. This is Alex and Ellie. I had this debate about 20 years ago in an office I once worked at, and no one was bothered about eating smelly foods at your desk. What do you make of that?
Well, times have changed. Now, everyone's in a small office together, you don't really want to, you don't want to enjoy it, especially greasy food and kind of, fried stuff. It just makes you feel a little bit...
Maybe we should just all be sticking to sandwiches.
I think even on trains as well, to be honest with you.
Trains, no excuse. No smelly food on trains. That's my tipping point.
Yeah, what do you make of this, Andy? Because Adrian here says heating meals with fish in a microwave in a staff room is vile. Would you be happy with that?
It is vile, but these sort of things police themselves, right? All you need is the noisier person into the office to go into the kitchen, into the staff room and go, "Oh my God, what's that smell?" And then that person is too embarrassed to ever do it again. Yeah. And of course, in these litigious times, workplaces, people would be sued for racism if you ban certain foods. They'd be suing you for sort of, I don't know, misogyny or all sorts of stuff, complaining about the smell of foods. How do you enforce it? What foods are banned? One person's smelly and another person's delicious.
But that is a good point, isn't it? Because there is a bit of contention around foreign foods, and someone might take it as a race. I think there was a case about that, actually, not that long, if I remember, where someone was accusing someone of racism because their food was smelly. And that's what the other person was saying.
I think they've got more to do with stuff like that.
You'll be surprised, people don't have much to do.
Jameson, do you think it says something a bit wider about our society where it seems like 8 or 9 out of 10 people are eating their lunch at their desk? People can't afford to go out and have lunch,
people
buy
can't
lunch
afford to
every
go
single
out,
day.
but you can eat healthy food still. You can still eat fruit. You can still eat, a sandwich. It doesn't have to be a smelly sandwich. It doesn't have to be something which is offensive to other people.
What would you recommend people to eat?
Oh, yeah, go on.
Fruit.
Yeah.
Fruit, yoghurt.
Bit of yoghurt and fruit.
Salad. Yeah,
salad, Andy.
I will say...
Balsamic on the salad?
No. I've been in many a nice restaurant and really wanted to leave. And the other niche smell I can't stand is old ketchup. Like when ketchup's been left on a plate, someone's left it. No, I don't like that. But the other thing is, I will say, since work from home began, and I think people are working sort of one day in the office, 2 days in the office, I think behaviour in the office has become less well-mannered. It's almost like we've gone to seed at home during COVID and we've come back in like cavemen, unable to eat with our mouth closed, unable to monitor our volume. People listening to music at their desk, like noisily. Insane.
Yeah.
When I joined the workforce?
Even that's polite and impolite.
Yeah,
you know.
That's the thing, is it? And I guess the question is, particularly with the younger generation, we used to have a lot of cultural norms, didn't we, in Britain? There's lots of things you should and shouldn't do, ways you should dress, ways you should talk to people even, to address them in certain manners. But now it's a much freer culture, isn't it? A bit more chaotic. And I think there's question marks over whether young people are just, a bit more, a little bit more wild, perhaps, a little bit less constrained.
Yeah, I don't think they've been told no at school and they've been told no at home, and then they come into the workplace and someone says there's rules.
Yeah.
And they go back to their safe space.
It's not even about rules, it's about being self-conscious of, what your food smells like. I mean, if you smell as a person, you're going to be self-conscious and you're going to take yourself out of the situation.
Well, you think so. I tell you what, some people don't. If you've been on the tube at 9 a.m. in the morning, I'll tell you that for sure.
Anyway, you two, this has been fun, but we're out of time, I'm afraid. Andy and Jameson, thank you very much. Alison says, my work has already put a ban on hot food in the office. You can't use the microwaves. And Christine says, leave the office and eat in the canteen. It's that simple.
There you go.
Keep your views coming in, gbnews.com/say.
In the meantime, time now for a great British giveaway, £76,543.21, and it is...
Totally tax-free.
It is.
And the countdown to summer.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
I don't think you can apply, Jameson, but...
Yeah.
You can. Here are all the details that you need.
There's just 2 weeks left to grab a chance to live the summer of your dreams. As we could be making all of those dreams come true this year with a totally tax-free £76,543.21 in tax-free cash to be won. Someone really has to win it, and it could be you. What would you do with all that cash? That could be your year on us. Or find yourself in the lap of 5-star luxury. Somewhere like here, the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos. You really could be the next guaranteed winner, but don't miss out, there's only 2 weeks left to enter.
For a chance to win £76,543.21 in tax-free cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Good luck, everybody. Still to come, Paul Coyte's here with your sport.
It's all about the minnows, or the minnow, with respect. Cape Verde, you've got a draw with Spain. We've got France playing tonight in the World Cup, and then England will be tomorrow.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A9 northbound near Duplin Lock is partially blocked due to a broken down vehicle, leading to significant traffic delays for motorists in the area. In Hampshire, eastbound traffic on the A31 between the junctions with the A338 North and the M27 is facing lane restrictions due to an abandoned vehicle, resulting in the closure of one of the 2 available lanes. On the trains, there continue to be disruptions between Preston and Lancaster on Avanti West Coast services, while Chiltern Railways is also experiencing delays through Rickmansworth caused by ongoing issues. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. It's Sports Time. Paul Coyte's here with us.
I've had some people that have been messaging me saying, World Cup, is there other sports as we do? There's so much World Cup at the moment.
Yeah.
So forgive me, but at the moment, there's just so much World Cup stuff we're covering. Cape Verde. Capo Verde? Is that we were?
Yeah.
Capo Verde?
Yeah.
Cape Verde.
There you go. 0, Spain 0, which may sound like a boring game to some people that don't know football, but, I mean, my goodness. Cape Verde, to actually be in their first World Cup, to be as small as they are, to play the European champions, I think you're getting the idea now. Nobody gave them a hope. Nobody gave them a hope. Even on one of our originals, there was me going, oh, yeah, by the way, it's done and dusted. They don't stand a chance. But it was 0-0, so it's an incredible result. Now, the goalkeeper there, now, he's 40 years old, so he's knocking on when it comes to being a football player, and he was unbelievable. And his name's Vazinha. I think I had a shampoo called Vazinha. I'm sure there was.
A shampoo?
Yeah, a shampoo. I had a shampoo.
A shampoo will cut off a bit.
Vazinha. It's a performance of his life. Ellie, thank you. Grew up. His mum couldn't even afford to go and see him play. But anyway, it was a great result. They've now got to play Uruguay. They're going to play Saudi Arabia as well. And they drew 1-1 because every game was a draw yesterday. First time since 1958. What was the bet that someone had on Spain?
Well, the
first one.
The first one was someone put $1 million down.
Right.
Spain were going to win on the ridiculous odds that Spain were going to win, so they're only going to make $86,000 back.
OK, which sounds like a lot, but if you put $1 million on, that's not so much.
Yeah, but guess what happened, as you know?
Yeah.
Lost it all.
I know what happened, because I just said.
Sorry, you're right, you did.
Yes.
Lost it all.
I would argue they've got more money than sense.
Well, clearly, because they just lost $1 million.
Yeah.
I know, it's unbelievable.
You know, to make a quick buck.
Really more money than sense. And then there was another one, right?
Right,
Was this the Belgium-Egypt game?
Belgium-Egypt
which was also
game.
a draw?
Also a draw. Someone put down $8.6 million.
Oof.
That's ridiculous.
They can give that to me.
The payout was going to be $13 million, but they are now down over that, of course, $7 million, $8 million.
See, with the Spain Cape Verde one, you can kind of understand it, because Cape Verde didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
Whereas, of course, they did so. But with Belgium and Egypt, it could have gone either way anyway.
Yeah.
Iran drew 2-2 with New Zealand today. We've got France versus Senegal, 8 p.m. Iraq versus Norway, which is an interesting one, 11 p.m. Then at 2 a.m, the holders Argentina were playing Algeria. So good luck, Algeria. And Austria versus Jordan is at 5 a.m. So that's what we've got, the games coming up. England-Croatia tomorrow. I think it'd be nice to hear from, just get yourself in the mood, Bukayo Saka. And he's had a few injuries playing for Arsenal. We're hoping that he's going to play for England. Did he give any clues? This is what he said yesterday.
I don't want to say anything that obviously goes against the manager. What I would say is
between Mikel and Arsenal medical team and Thomas and the England medical team since March, they've managed me amazingly and helped me get back on the pitch and do what I can for the team. And yeah, I'm feeling better than I felt in the last few months, and yeah, I'm ready to go.
Not quite 100% yet, though.
I'm ready to go, man.
Not quite 100%. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So quite, but anyway, looks like he's going to be okay.
Good.
But that's
Well, we
tomorrow.
hope so.
Absolutely.
And just super quickly, let's talk about the cleanest football fans ever, shall we?
Yeah, you know who it is, right?
It's got to be the Japanese, isn't it?
Japanese did it at the Olympics. Yeah. They turn up with these big blue bags for the games. People wonder even what they were for. Let's have a look. This is what they do. And we've seen it at the Olympics, and they clean up after themselves. So let's see them do this.
It's a culture, but it's like respect for everything, respect for the players, supporters, and also for the stadium. We're kind of honored to be here, so we don't want to make the mess and then leave it. So I think that's the reason why we're doing it.
Oh, that's so
lovely.
nice.
Such a respectful culture.
And not only is it the fans, but the dressing room as well. I think we've got a picture of the dressing room. So even the team, have a look at this, even the team after the game will make sure, look at that, that's afterwards.
Wow.
Everything folded, everything done. Very respectful, fantastic. If only everybody did this.
I like that. We should have more of that here.
Absolutely. You're a fine one, aren't you? Because I've seen some of your mess after we've come off air.
I'm spotless.
Are you?
I am.
OK, fine.
Clean freak. I have an opposite. I throw everything. I throw everything
Shampoo?
away.
Yeah.
Shampoo.
Yeah. And even the shampoo?
I'm constantly throwing things out. Yeah.
OK, well that's good. That's a
very
good way to-
minimalist.
Very good. Well done, Japan.
Well done, Japan.
More for you in an hour.
Yes, very good. We're going to talk about Brooklyn Beckham. I'm teasing it now.
Are we?
Yeah.
OK.
I've just emailed you.
Oh, have you? OK.
Yeah. There's a video.
Are you setting the agenda? Setting my agenda now, are you? Is that what it is?
I think you're going to want to talk about this.
OK.
All I'll say is there's an advert out that Brooklyn Beckham has just done, which he's clearly been paid for. Very awkward.
OK,
grow up. It's like, honestly, it's having a... Well, anyway, I don't want to ruin it.
I think it's going to wind you up. So we'll get that video ready and we'll do it.
OK.
In the next
sport?
hour.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Thanks. It's all about sport, isn't it? Yeah.
Thank
Football
you.
and sun. Yeah, that's all right. Anyway, still to come, waiting list for Wegovy. Surge as the weight loss jab is turned into a daily tablet.
Yeah, we're going to go through that and much more in the papers. Chloe and James up next, morning you two. But first, here's the forecast across Europe.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
A heatwave is building across western parts of Europe at the moment, and that heat is going to be pushing further eastwards through the next few days. Whilst there is a lot of sunshine mixed in with it, and temperatures therefore getting into the mid to high 30s, possibly even low 40s, with that heat, worth bearing in mind, we could see some hefty thundery downpours developing across, well, many areas. Some heavy or more persistent rain affecting Greece as well through tomorrow. Otherwise, it's looking largely dry, often sunny and hot through the end of the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
You're a stripper for nearly 20 years now. Yeah. And what you do now has changed. How has it changed and why?
I think beforehand they would book you individually. There would be a lot of stripograms, and that would be bookings for like birthdays, hen parties, and ultimately you would probably be around their house or something like that, or in a small bar. What it's kind of moved into now is more shows. Dream Boys, it's really popular. It's up and down the country, and what you'll find is they'll get 20, 30 girls together and they'll go out and they'll go to the show because they've got the drag queen, they've got the dancers, they've got the stripper, they've got the whole night's entertainment.
Is that because they feel uncomfortable with the stripper, or is it a woke thing? Is it they're concerned about objectifying you because they don't objectify themselves, so why should you be objectified?
I think it could be possibly a bit about... some of them might think if we get them around the house, there might be a person that's uncomfortable with it. Whereas if they book the show, you're free to go to the show or not.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Princess Anne and the way that she has brought up her family is really interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, you've got daughter and son who've not taken on royal titles, who've just got on with their lives.
I think now, in retrospect, we can say it was an inspired decision of the Royal Princess Anne not to have her husband receive a Grand Peerage title, which meant, of course, that her children would just be plain Mr. and Mrs. Zara is Mrs. Tyndall, he is Mr. Phillips, and that's allowed them actually to have a much more normal life, not being in the necessary glare that attaches when you have the HRH prefix to your name and become a duke or a duchess or whatever. And yes, they have had great lives in the private sector.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Dorothea served in preparation for D-Day. And Dorothea, how does it feel being here today, joining other veterans?
We suddenly felt that it had been worthwhile giving up our youth, our years as teenagers. No such things existed. You were a child until you were 14 or 16, depending on the year. And after that, OK, you're fit to be killed for the country. And it was naturally assumed that everybody would willingly do their bit for England. And they would have.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back to Breakfast. Of course, this year we're celebrating 5 years of GB News. And on the 6th of August, we're going to be holding events across the country and want you to join us.
So save the date, and if you want to be the first to hear about the day's plans and how to get involved, all you need to do is scan the QR code on your screens now or visit gbnews.com/celebrate. And we're celebrating here in the studio, aren't we?
Yeah.
With Chloe and James this morning. We've got special GB News cupcakes.
Look at these. Everyone's got their own little cupcake.
They're good, don't they?
They're
They say
good.
5 years of GBN, Britain's news channel.
They said we'd
On the
last
top.
6 months, didn't they?
Cheers.
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 Yeah, said
Cheers.
we'd last 6. Cheers. And we're still here.
Beating pretty much everyone else.
Yeah, oh yes. We certainly are. We certainly are. Should we do a quick run through the front pages before we get cracking?
Yes, because The Times is reporting that Apple and Google could be forced to check children's ages on phones, as the Prime Minister promises an undisclosed social media ban by early next year.
Meanwhile, the Daily Express leads with "Our hope has been restored" as Labour MP Lauren Edwards says she will be bringing back the assisted dying bill after it failed to pass.
The Daily Mail reports on the murder of baby Preston Davey. It's a very distressing story, asking how officials missed repeated chances to protect the baby.
Yeah. And the Metro leads with "My ban will keep our kids safe" as Starmer confirms plans to ban under-16s from social media.
Well, joining us to go through what's making the news this morning is Chloe Dobbs and James Rampton. Morning, you two.
Hi.
Good to see you both. Chloe, let's start with you, shall we? And weight loss drugs demand. Tell us more.
So now you're going to be able to get Wegovy in a pill form rather than injections. I think most people probably would feel a bit squeamish about injecting themselves. That being said, about 1.6 million people already are doing that in the UK. But this is going to make it appealing to a lot more people. And you've got just one of these online pharmacy companies says that they expect their waiting list to hit 100,000 now with this new pill. They're going to struggle to meet demand. I mean, the weight loss drugs seem to always be in the news. They're very popular. My personal opinion is I'm quite against them, except for cases when people are severely obese. I think there are a lot of people thinking, oh, I'd like to lose a few pounds. And I think what I notice is that yes, you may lose some weight in the short term, but they're going for really calorie-dense foods, like having milkshakes and whatnot, so they can get liquid calories in quickly. Some even just drinking alcohol to get the calories in, rather than actually having the high-volume, low-calorie foods where you're going to get the nutrients that are going to make you live a long life in the long term. Like, eat your broccoli, eat your spinach, eat your fruit, eat your veg, all of this stuff. They can't seem to fit it in their stomach anymore, but that's what's going to be good for their, preventing cancer and everything else in the long run.
Yeah, quite right. What do you make of it, James? Well, do you think we should all just, perhaps work out a little bit more, or is this helpful?
Sitting with three very thin and healthy people, I'm slightly struggling here. No, I don't. I think that eat your greens is something that people don't respond to very well. And I think there are certain health conditions that are dramatically improved by weight loss. And if you've tried every other method and you cannot shed the pounds, then going on a weight loss drug is good because it will save the NHS billions of pounds. Look at the amount of money we spend on diabetes medication every year. People younger and younger, even some children are getting diabetes now. If we could find a way, and obviously long term it shouldn't just be about taking medication, but if we can find a way in the short term of reducing the number of people who need treatment on the NHS, or perhaps blocking treatment for other people with other even more serious conditions, then that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah. Certainly agree. Well, while with you, why don't we talk about this story here in the Telegraph, London mansions for benefits claimants?
Yeah, I'm sure this will get a lot of people enraged because the story suggests that £18 billion a year are spent on subsidised housing for benefits claimants in London alone. Now, Chloe and I were talking off air about it. You know, there's people apparently getting very nice properties in Brixton at knockdown prices and Notting Hill. My only caveat about this story is I don't think it's very well put into context. So are these properties that can't be sold? Are they properties that would otherwise be lying vacant? There's also the element of the social aspect of it. I live in a street which has very mixed housing, and I personally think that's a good thing. I think if you live in a rich people's enclave, that leads to strange attitudes and the promotion of exclusivity, which I don't necessarily believe in. So I think if you can manage to, social engineering is a terrible phrase, but if you can manage to change the social nature of an area without making it too difficult and dangerous for people, then that is a good thing.
But at what cost? As you said, 18 billion a year in London alone, just so that people on lower incomes have a right to live in Notting Hill. I'm sorry, but that is a luxury to live in Notting Hill. There are so many people who go, crammed like sardines on the train every day from the outskirts to come into London to work because they cannot afford to live in somewhere like Notting Hill. They're going to be looking at this and seeing that you can get a 7-bed terraced house for 744 quid on the social housing scheme in London, or a 2-bed for 720 quid in Notting Hill. That's per month. They're going to be absolutely infuriated. And I mean, those of us who rent privately, you can get, it's pretty impossible to just rent a little room in London for any less than £1,000 a month.
Yes. True.
It's deeply unfair.
Well, it's just the lack of context in this story. We don't know why these properties are available. We don't know who it is that's filling them and whether they'd be lying vacant otherwise. So I absolutely agree with you that it appears unfair, but I feel that we haven't been given sufficient detail in this article.
James, let's stay with you, shall we? Look at the Times this morning, and this is junior doctors revolting against their union leader. Tell us more.
Well, I mean, it's funny. If we'd
resident doctors, we should say.
Yes, exactly. That's what they're called these days.
Yep.
If we talked about this issue 10 years ago, I'm sure all of us, well, I can't speak for you, but many people would have said, yes, we support the doctors, whatever. Possibly the most respected profession in this country, but the actions of the resident doctors recently have made them seem quite greedy, perhaps a bit selfish, and they've already secured a massive pay rise, and now they are angry because the BMA has cancelled another strike. So they're calling their leader, Dr. Jack Fletcher, spineless, and say that he bypassed them when he was making this decision. To me, this just amplifies the view that the resident doctors are not in tune with people who are struggling with the cost of living, with people who are finding it very hard to access healthcare, and they're thinking the doctors have already got a huge settlement when Wes Streeting was first health secretary. How can they be demanding more when so many other people are struggling?
Yeah, I mean, what's happened is James Murray, our new Health Secretary replacing Wes Streeting, has offered a better pay rise package. So originally they were going to be offered, I think, 4.9% pay rise, and it's now been improved up to 6.6%. So I think quite rightly the BMA have said we're going to pause the strikes and then allow our members to have a vote on the 6.6% rise, which, by the way, will make the highest paid resident or junior doctors, whatever you want to call them, earn over 100 grand a year. And I think there'll be many people watching this on a heck of a lot less than that, thinking, I don't think they need that, I can barely pay my bills, but they certainly can. But it's the extremists, it's not all of them, it's the extreme ones who have now passed this emergency motion to condemn Fletcher, their leader, for what I think is a reasonable decision to call off the strikes temporarily.
I think most people are sick to death of this. They just want the NHS to work. And I appreciate that many people say that we need to pay our junior doctors more, but they will go on to earn over £100,000, the vast majority of them who can get jobs. And I do think we also need to stop hiring foreigners to come and fill in jobs for British doctors. I think it's a ridiculous shame in our system that we do that. Talking of groaning, because I'm moaning around here, James...
That is the most superb segue I've ever heard.
Tell us a little bit about Father's Day.
Well, being a dad myself and having children who deride me on an almost hourly basis, this did strike a chord. Dad jokes are apparently a big feature of Father's Day, but more than 2,000 people were polled, and more than half of them said that their father is one of the funniest people they know. They definitely didn't speak to my children about this.
Anyone got any good dad jokes on the...
Well, there's one that I quite liked that was in this piece. Two guys walked into a bar, the third guy ducked. I just thought that's basic setup, very simple, but that's because I'm a dad. I think it's funny. Everyone else, I can just see tumbleweed blowing across the studio.
That's very much a tumbleweed for me. And it's when my dad tells a joke, it's so bad that you don't realise he's told a joke, and you're all just sat there saying, what are you talking about? And then he goes, don't you get it? And we're like, no,
I have a
sorry.
really... the best dad jokes are the ones that are slightly longer, in my opinion. There's a really great one about Cal and a guy called Cal and washing machines, but I haven't got time to tell it to you. So there you go. But there's a good one here. Why don't skeletons fight each other, Chloe?
They've got no muscles.
No, not far off. They don't have the guts.
Oh, very good.
Very good, very good.
But I will have to get my coat after the utter failure of my dad joke. But it just proves what my daughters say, I'm the least funny person in the world.
Yeah, well, I think that's a feeling shared by most children. The
most politically wrong and the least funny.
James Rampton, Chloe Dobbs, thank you very much. We'll see you in 45 minutes' time.
We're going to get your weather first.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. A fair amount of cloud and a fair bit of rain for many of us through today. Meanwhile, in the southeast, it's actually going to be pretty hot. That's because we have the best of the dry, sunny weather here. Not necessarily wall-to-wall blue skies. There'll be some hazy sunshine around, high-level cloud, that kind of thing, but a lot of dry, bright weather here. Across many northern and western parts, however, quite cloudy at times, and there will be some outbreaks of rain coming and going as well. Temperatures for many peaking in the high teens, low 20s, but towards the southeast, with that sunshine, we are going to see them getting into the mid to high 20s, so feeling pretty hot for some. Into the evening, staying quite cloudy across much of Scotland, a few outbreaks of rain. Worth noting, it could be a bit blustery at times for northern and western coastal parts in particular. It's a similar story for Northern Ireland, quite cloudy, a few bits of rain coming and going, nothing too heavy. Perhaps some more persistent rain affecting parts of Wales later on, but that will break up as we go through the evening and overnight. Showery bursts across parts of the southwest. Meanwhile, eastern areas staying dry for a little bit longer, but even here, a bit of rain will arrive overnight and into Wednesday morning. Otherwise, through into Wednesday morning, quite wet across northern parts in particular, and then eventually towards the southwest, Devon and Cornwall, seeing some more persistent rain arriving as we head towards dawn. Temperatures not dropping a huge amount, many places staying in mid-teens Celsius. We have warm air across us, and with all that cloud acting like a blanket. There's no reason for our temperatures to dip. Wednesday's then going to bring some more persistent rain coming in from the southwest across central southern parts of England, clipping into parts of Wales. That could be quite heavy as it pushes further eastwards, and it's going to keep temperatures down in the southeast compared to today. Further north and west, it's kind of a case of a few showery bursts, some sunshine in between, but once more temperatures getting into high teens, low 20s, that kind of thing. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A9 northbound at Duplin Lock, a broken down vehicle partially blocks the road. On the A465 westbound between Neath and Landarcy, congestion builds. Around Darlington, the A1M northbound between junctions 59 and 60 has one lane closed due to a collision. On Hampshire's A31 eastbound between junctions with the A338 north and the M27, one of two lanes is closed due to an abandoned vehicle. And on the trains, disruptions continue between Preston and Lancaster on both Avanti West Coast and Northern services. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
There's just 2 weeks left to grab a chance to live the summer of your dreams.
With a totally tax-free £76,543.21 in tax-free cash to be won.
Someone really has to win it, and it could be you.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At the stroke of midnight, the news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
Day in, day out. Forget stuffy late night TV shows. We're giving you a front row ticket to the centre of the political universe.
Because breaking news doesn't wait for the morning.
And neither do we. Join us for one of the most controversial and volatile times of politics in human history.
A very big story.
Big story over here.
You won't get this anywhere else. The Late Show live at midnight, every night.
Only on GB News.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
News is completely unique in the way that we interact with our viewers.
Our audience aren't afraid to have their say. They want their voices heard now, and they've got a channel where that can happen.
I find more and more as I'm wandering around, people come up to me and they say, we saw you on television. I say, oh yes, on what? On GB News.
Hello, are you the famous Sue? The whole crew hid me here now. We came to celebrate.
It's our job to be the eyes and ears of the viewers.
They are part of the GB News family, and I'm pleased to say it's a very large family.
And if people go to the time and trouble of listening and watching, then we've got to do a good job for them.
Well, I'm here, right in the epicentre of the protest.
Here we go again.
You just tuned in. Where have you been?
It is raucous here tonight.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain.
Good morning. Britain is stepping up pressure on Russia with a major new package of sanctions.
The Prime Minister will unveil the measures at the G7 summit in France, where support for Ukraine is set to dominate talks.
Well, the package targets hundreds of Russian-linked vessels and the networks that are helping Moscow fund its war.
Yes, the Prime Minister talking tough about Russia. In the G7, though, will Donald Trump have words with him about our defence spending and possibly also that social media ban that American tech companies are not happy about?
And the Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's social media ban is labelled a rush job as critics speculate over how it's actually going to work.
Remembering what it is we've got in common, building that, nurturing it, that's something that we can all do.
10 years on since the murder of the MP Jo Cox, I spoke to her husband Brendan amid calls for unity in the UK.
And the horses are ready, the hats are on, and Royal Ascot is underway as racing's biggest week begins with the traditional royal procession.
Yeah, one of the most important events in the British social calendar, combining elite horse racing, royalty and the best of British fashion. Can the King and Queen's horse, reaching high, win the Ascot Stakes later on today? Well, let's see. Join me shortly.
He wears a hat well, doesn't he, Karen?
Really
Maybe just a jaunty angle I'd like to see a little bit later. In sport this morning, the biggest shock of the World Cup so far, Cape Verde drew with Spain. The French begin their campaign today. FIFA I think they've agreed now. They said it's OK over this Australian ref's strange hand gestures. We'll discuss later.
There's some hot weather around across parts of the southeast today. Elsewhere, it's looking cloudier, cooler, and also a bit wet at times. I'll have more details coming up.
Good morning. It's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Well, more than 600 Russian-linked vessels will be hit with UK sanctions as Britain steps up efforts to cut off funding for Putin's war in Ukraine.
Yes, the move comes as G7 leaders gather in France, where Sir Keir Starmer is expected to unveil the new measures.
Well, the package will target Russia's shadow fleet, bans liquefied natural gas shipments and cracks down on the financial networks that Moscow uses to bypass Western sanctions.
And joining us now is Shadow Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, Alex Burghardt. Good morning to you, indeed, Alex. Thanks for joining us. Let's start perhaps with the G7, shall we, seeing as that is the most topical item on the Prime Minister's list at the moment. The United Kingdom is going to unveil a range of new sanctions. Do you support those sanctions?
Yeah, I obviously support anything that puts Putin under greater pressure and puts him in a position where he can't carry on his illegal war. But what I'm very worried about is that the Prime Minister is going to the G7 making all of these promises, but he hasn't presented his defence investment plan, which is almost a year late. His Secretary of State for Defence resigned last week, John Healey, as did the Armed Forces Minister, because they said the Prime Minister is unable and the Chancellor is unwilling to do what's necessary to keep Britain safe. So I think that his colleagues at the G7 will be looking at him thinking, does this man really put his money where his mouth is? And is this the last time we're going to see him?
Can I ask you about the horrific case of the baby Preston Davey, who was abused and murdered by the teacher who was trying to adopt him and his boyfriend? I won't go into the details because it's a family programme. This is, of course, breakfast time. But hearing from social workers this morning and also from the baby's biological grandmother, they are asking serious questions this morning about how that abuse was missed by authorities, and they are both suggesting that perhaps political correctness had played a role, that social workers didn't want to be seen as homophobic to confront a same-sex couple. What is your reaction to this horrific case, and do you think that political correctness could have potentially played a role in failing to stop these abusers?
It's an incredibly upsetting story, and I just have to send all of my thoughts and sympathies to the family of the little child involved. And I worked when I was first working in Westminster. It was around about the time of the murder of Peter Connolly, Baby P, and it brings back a lot of memories of that awful case. And I think that we absolutely have to take the concerns of the family seriously. And if it is the case, after years properly investigated, that political correctness played a role in making sure that child wasn't properly looked after, then it just goes to show that the remarks that Kemi Badenoch made last week about making sure that we totally unpick this politically correct set of ideas that have infected the thinking of public services. It's so important that we get on and do that as fast as possible.
Yeah, let's move on to something else here. Your Shadow Justice Secretary, Nick Timothy, one of your colleagues last night, has come under a little bit of fire, a little bit of criticism for some of his comments on Muslims praying outside the Iraq and Afghanistani war memorial. Nick Timothy said here on X, anybody who understands Islamism understands that the domination of public space is part of the modus operandi. It is done so Islamists can show who is in charge and show other Muslims and the wider public that authorities will bend to their will. This, of course, was at the gates of the MOD, just the context is important. Do you support his comments, Alex?
Look, Nick is very expert in this, and he chooses his words very carefully and very deliberately. He studied this issue for a long time. He studied extremist Islamism very closely. He used to work in the Home Office. And so I know I completely agree with what he's saying. I think it's a very important debate to have. And I'm glad that he's drawing attention to it.
Would you ban it if you were in government? Would you ban praying in public spaces?
So I think what Nick has said is that that this is something that isn't welcome, and I'm not in favour of resorting to banning things, but I do think that we have to be very careful about how our public spaces are used and whether we want to see public spaces used in this way. So I'm not opposed completely opposed to the idea of a ban, but I just think there's something that we need to think about carefully before we rush into conclusions.
Okay.
Today is the 10-year anniversary of the murder of the MP Jo Cox. Do you think enough is being done to protect elected representatives whilst also preserving an open democracy? And do you think when it comes to political discourse that things have got better or worsened since 2016?
They're two really important questions, and I think obviously I think we'll all be remembering Jo Cox today. Where I sit in the Commons, the memorial to her is just opposite. It's just behind me, and the one to my friend David Amos is in front. Two MPs killed in the past 10 years, and it's awful to think of that happening in our democracy. But what I would say is that the services, the security services that are provided to us as MPs, whilst they can never be perfect, they exist, and there's always dialogue going on about whether we can be made safer. But I also think that actually we, in our country, we are pretty safe, and I think of all the instances during my week where if somebody really wanted to get at me, they could, and actually I feel safe almost all of the time. So, but on your point on discourse, I think that discourse has gotten rawer and rawer over the course of maybe the past 10, 15 years. And it's a combination of things. It's firstly the arrival of social media, which enables people to communicate much more readily than ever they could. And there are some good things about that and some bad things about it. But I also think that the country and the West is in a much more difficult position than it was. We've had falling living standards, very high immigration as well. And I think that creates a heightened mood that is then channeled through social media. But yeah, the job of the next government, which I hope will be a next Conservative government, is to create that growth and hope and sense of purpose for the country that will start to bring us together, get immigration under control, so people can see that government's on the side of the people and can do the difficult things that people want it to do, and that we can build that better future. At the moment, I think there's an absence of hope, and it's time to create hope.
OK, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That's Shadow Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, Alex Burkhardt. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Well, let's speak now to GB News' chief political correspondent, Catherine Forster. Very good morning to you, Catherine. What did you make there of what Alex Burkhardt had to say?
Well, I think what he said just then about an absence of hope will resonate with many people. He talked about the discourse getting rawer and rawer, partly because of social media. The government, of course, trying to crack down on that for under 16s, and also because living standards have basically stagnated since the financial crisis. But he also touched on the Prime Minister and the fact that he might not be Prime Minister for that much longer. He, of course, arrived at the G7 in Evian-les-Bains, just near the Swiss border in France yesterday, along with Donald Trump and other G7 leaders. He sat next to Mark Carney of Canada last night. They talked, among other things, about innovative ways to fund defence. Remember, we had a Defence Secretary and Armed Forces Minister quit last week. Extremely embarrassing for the Prime Minister, who likes to present himself as exceedingly competent on the international stage. I do wonder what Donald Trump will have to say to him about that. He sat next to Trump at a dinner last night. The footage I saw looked rather awkward. Donald Trump potentially will also have some words, I suspect, about the social media ban. But look, Keir Starmer today is trying to look like he is on the front foot. Action, further sanctions against Russia, both sanctions on liquid natural gas supply. Also, they are going to supply more enriched uranium to Ukraine's nuclear power plants. We, of course, boarded that Shadow Fleet vessel, an incredible operation at the weekend. We've been talking about the ability to do that for months, but we actually did it. But also, of course, this comes at a time where yesterday we heard of those 2 Ukrainians who were found guilty of 3 attacks on properties and a car with links to the Prime Minister in North London. And we heard that although they were Ukrainian, this was an operation effectively masterminded and dictated by Russia. And you will know that following those attacks, there was a whole load of speculation about who these guys were online, deeply unhelpful to the Prime Minister. We now understand that they didn't even realise who they were targeting. Certainly in the case of one of them, they didn't realise this was coming from Russia, but they were short of money. They were trying to get by in Britain. But I think this is just part of this whole sort of low-scale battle that Russia is already waging against us. We've seen drone attacks in Europe. They interfere with undersea cables that are absolutely critical for our infrastructure. And this sort of disinformation. So focus this morning, Zelensky is talking to leaders about what more can be done to support Ukraine. Then at lunchtime, it moves to a lunch about the Middle East. Donald Trump has, of course, been sounding very optimistic. He says a deal is done. It's going to be signed in Geneva on Friday by J.D. Vance. Worth saying, J.D. Vance's language, not quite as optimistic.
Yeah, Catherine, Donald Trump is going to be arriving shortly at the conference, isn't he? We believe momentarily he'll be arriving. He's obviously landed, but he will be there. We know there's going to be more showdowns because the tensions between European partners and the United States of America have been heating up. We saw Donald Trump criticising the Prime Minister over immigration, or at least heard he would be. And, of course, there's a social media ban, which has been widely supported by people like Emmanuel Macron. Are we expecting there to be heightened tensions, perhaps, between the powers today?
Oh, yes, I think definitely, because as far as Donald Trump has concerned, we have blotted our copybook big time. Yes, with the social media, potentially lack of defence spending. Remember, we've all promised, and NATO allies have promised, to get to 5% by 2035. The current government is saying they'll only get to 2.68 by the end of the decade, which leaves a very, very long way to go. And also, of course, on the war in Iran, Donald Trump and Israel decided to start this. They didn't consult other allies, but then Donald Trump was very upset when he asked for a bit of help, and that help was not initially forthcoming. He has said that he will not forget that. So I think some European leaders possibly in disgrace.
OK, Catherine Forster there for us in Westminster. Thank you very much.
Let's have a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom this morning.
8 closed grooming gang cases have been referred back to police forces for re-investigation. The National Crime Agency is reviewing hundreds of files where potential lines of inquiry may have been missed.
And the captain of a Russian Shadow Fleet oil tanker has been charged after Royal Marines stormed the vessel in the English Channel. AJ Pant is accused of breaching sanctions by transporting prohibited Russian oil products after a 6-hour operation supported by the RAF.
And the former Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, says Britain has forgotten how to build. He's promising emergency laws to get major projects moving faster if he were to become Prime Minister. Mr Streeting says new power plants, wind farms, data centres and transport schemes should be pushed through more quickly in order to boost growth.
Well, right, before we get cracking into some of those headlines, should we get your news, well, your weather indeed, actually, because we're going to give you the news. Weather update with Alex Burkill.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. A fair amount of cloud and a fair bit of rain for many of us through today. Meanwhile, in the southeast, it's actually going to be pretty hot. That's because we have the best of the dry, sunny weather here. Not necessarily wall-to-wall blue skies. There'll be some hazy sunshine around, high-level cloud, that kind of thing, but a lot of dry, bright weather here. Across many northern and western parts, however, quite cloudy at times, and there will be some outbreaks of rain coming and going as well. Temperatures for many peaking in the high teens, low 20s, but towards the southeast, with that sunshine, we are going to see them getting into the mid to high 20s, so feeling pretty hot for some. Into the evening, staying quite cloudy across much of Scotland, a few outbreaks of rain. Worth noting, it could be a bit blustery at times for northern and western coastal parts in particular. It's a similar story for Northern Ireland, quite cloudy, a few bits of rain coming and going, nothing too heavy. Perhaps some more persistent rain affecting parts of Wales later on, but that will break up as we go through the evening and overnight. Showery bursts across parts of the southwest. Meanwhile, eastern areas staying dry for a little bit longer, but even here a bit of rain will arrive overnight and into Wednesday morning. Otherwise, through into Wednesday morning, quite wet across northern parts in particular, and then eventually towards the southwest, Devon and Cornwall seeing some more persistent rain arriving as we head towards dawn. Temperatures not dropping a huge amount, many places staying in mid-teens Celsius. We have warm air across us, and with all that cloud acting like a blanket, there's no reason for our temperatures to dip. Wednesday's then going to bring some more persistent rain coming in from the southwest across central southern parts of England, clipping into parts of Wales. That could be quite heavy as it pushes further eastwards, and it's going to keep temperatures down in the southeast compared to today. Further north and west, it's kind of a case of a few showery bursts, some sunshine in between, but once more temperatures getting into high teens, low 20s, that kind of thing. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
The horses are ready, the hats are on, and Royal Ascot /Royal Ascot sets off today. We're going to be live there with Cameron Walker next.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
And we're off, because the races are beginning, aren't they?
Yeah, Royal Ascot has begun.
I've never been.
Have you not?
Never been.
Oh, it's so good. I've done, I think, 3 years now for GB News. So fun.
Yeah.
Brilliant day out. Best of British.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I don't know how I'd look in one of those top hats.
You'd look great.
Do you think so?
Like Cameron Walker.
Cameron Walker looks fantastic.
He always does, yes.
And the racegoers, of course, are as well, because they're expecting the
Oh,
King and Queen.
there
There
he
he is. King and Queen will hopefully be joining them soon. Is that right, Cameron?
Well, I'd like to think so, Alex. And by the way, I think you would look very dapper in a top hat. You should definitely come here to Royal Ascot one day because the King and Queen actually have a horse racing today, reaching high in the Ascot Stakes. So I'd be very surprised if they weren't here. Welcome to the parade ring. If the King and Queen do end up winning, then they will be on this little stage here later on receiving their trophy. The royal procession, of course, kicks off at around 2 p.m, where members of the royal family and their guests ride around the parade ring to the cheering crowds in carriages before heading into that royal box. But it is day one, of course, of Royal Ascot, one of the most prestigious events in the British social calendar, providing elite horse racing, royalty, of course, and the best of British fashion, as well as lots of champagne and Pimm's flowing, I am sure. The opening day of Royal Ascot is a pretty important one because we've got 3 Group 1 races, which is basically kind of the elite racing, the biggest prize money, the most run or the most prestigious and best horses horses for racing that long run. Royal Ascot, of course, started back in 1711 under the reign of Queen Anne, who was riding from Windsor Castle one day and thought, ooh, this bit of land looks like the ideal location to gallop at full stretch, is the quote. We've got 7 races going on today. As I said, 3 of them are Group 1. John Warren, which is the King and Queen's racing manager, used to be, of course, Queen Elizabeth II's racing manager. You may well remember that really famous moment inside the royal box when the Queen Elizabeth II was still alive with the Queen and John Warren as one of their horses was winning the race, and they were both, let's say, royal protocol went a little bit out of the window, and they were both absolutely extremely excited. The last time the King and Queen won a horse here was Desert Hero back in 2024, and again the Queen and King looks pretty excited about it. So let's see if those scenes are recreated later on today. But of course it's the first of 5 days here at Royal Ascot. Lots to look forward to, so do stay tuned throughout the day for the very latest.
OK, Cameron Walker there for us. Thank you so much. OK, if you are heading to work or school this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. A broken down vehicle on the northbound A9 Kessock Bridge is causing delays. Congestion affects M4 eastbound at junction 33 near Capel Lanilturn. Darlington's A1M. Northbound faces delays between junction 59 and 60 due to a collision. Worcestershire's M5 southbound slip road at junction 4 has 10-minute delays. Hampshire's A27 westbound has delays between A259 at Chichester West and A3023 junction. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast services are disrupted, with buses replacing trains between Wigan Woolgate and Headbolt Lane. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
All right, how do you fancy £76,543.21, Ellie?
In tax-free cash, this countdown to summer. It's all tax-free. Here are all the details that you need.
There's just 2 weeks left to make your summer sensational, as we're giving you the chance to win a simply stunning £76,543.21 in tax-free cash. That's cash that could go towards family treats, spectacular summer days out, or give you the chance to chill out and relax somewhere like here, the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos. You really could be our next big winner with a whopping £76,543.21 in your bank. But hurry, there's just 2 weeks remaining.
For a chance to win £76,543.21 in tax-free cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Good luck, everybody. Look, still to come. Paul Coyte's here with all the sports.
I think it's our first real upset that we've had in the World Cup with Cape Verde, and also you can't see my hand, but I'm doing a secret sign right now, which the referee did yesterday, and we'll talk about that very shortly. Oh, there I am. Hello, there we are. Hello, how are you?
It's not just a puppet under the table like that. I'm just doing that.
I was being worked the whole time. Let's do that.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News. Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 8:31. Now, in the past few minutes, Emmanuel Macron and Volodymyr Zelensky have been spotted walking into the G7 summit in Evian in France. GB News political editor Christopher Hope joins us live from there now. Very good morning to you, Chris. What are we expecting to happen today?
Well, Ellie, the focus is going to be talking all about Ukraine and Russian sanctions. Now, the UK government is unveiling plans to sanction hundreds of vessels, LNG tankers, Russian tankers, so-called shadow fleet. We saw them being boarded by UK forces over the weekend, one of them in UK waters. That's one of the focuses. The other one is supplying enriched uranium to Ukrainian nuclear power plants to ensure they can stay warm in the winter. Last night, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, met with Donald Trump, their first in-person meeting since the Iran war broke out. We haven't yet found out how that meeting went, and of course, Donald Trump can say anything. With their meeting this morning and sitting down here in the Alps, in the French Alps, shortly to discuss areas including the safety of Europe and security, that may allow, of course, Donald Trump to pile in on immigration, or his concerns maybe about the under-16 social media ban announced by Keir Starmer just yesterday. All sorts of areas he may go for. When Donald Trump's in town, often anything can happen. So Keir Starmer is here with Lady Starmer, his wife Victoria. It's their first visit together on one of these trips since the NATO summit back in July 2024. That, of course, was a month after the general election. There's a feeling, though, this could be maybe their last visit, a sign-off, if you like, for Sir Keir Starmer. We'll wait and see how that plays out. Of course, that depends on by-elections later this week.
Thank you very much for bringing us the latest on that. All eyes on Trump, of course. Let's go to Paul Coit here, because it's World Cup fever, isn't it, now?
It is. Are you feeling it?
I'm getting there. I think tomorrow, when we've played, I'll be in the mood.
Yeah. England, Croatia tomorrow. Yesterday, Cape Verde and Spain. I say giant killing, although it wasn't actually a giant killing. It was 0-0. But you would expect that Spain were going to win this easily. European champions, one of the favourites for the World Cup. What was the bet you saw?
Right. Well, there's two, wasn't there? So there was Spain and Cape Verde.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you said, they drew last night. But the odds were so good that the Spain were going to win. Someone chucked $1 million.
Yes.
For an 86 grand return, which, isn't a lot when you think about
of course.
the bet. Right.
But so certain it's worth it to stake the $1 million to win the 86 grand. It never happened.
That's it.
Never happened. It was Vezina. Vezina is the new star. 40 years old is Vezina, but it was the performance of his life, the goalkeeper. They just could not get past them, and it was such a great performance. So it ain't over yet. Obviously, they've got 1 point. They've now got Uruguay and then Saudi Arabia, who also drew yesterday. So every game, by the way, yesterday at the World Cup was a draw. First time that's happened since 1958. That's never happened before. Well, not before then, anyway. So 4 draws on the same day. Tonight, then, we've got France against Senegal. Now, that will be a game of football, I've got to tell you. France, another one of the favourites. Didier Deschamps, the only manager or the only person living to
have played in the World Cup and managed it.
Won the World Cup.
Won the World Cup,
Won the World Cup as a player. And won it as a manager as well. And Senegal, who won AFCON, and then it was taken off them, but I'm not going to go through all that again. But that's 8 p.m. tonight, so that'll be a really good game. Iraq versus Norway, interesting one, 11 o'clock. Argentina, Algeria, 2 a.m. And then if you're getting really tired and you think you can manage to stay up for the next one, then the final one, I mean, you've got to be a real pro for this one. Austria versus Jordan at 5 a.m. tonight. Now, the referee. Now, this is a bizarre one. This happened before the Germany-Curaçao game, and what they do is they cut to the referee, and you see the VAR officials. So have a look at this. This is the VAR officials just before the game, and it went to them, and we see a very strange, kind of
this, isn't it?
It was this. He's standing there and makes this kind of strange sign. Is that what it is?
That's it, yeah.
So people
Sort of
are
like
thinking,
that,
what is he doing? Is it like an OK?
Yeah.
It's like an upside-down OK.
It looks like an upside-down OK. And then there was it's a white supremacist sign. And it's like, oh, really? Is someone going to do it? Look, there he is there beforehand. Now, look at it very carefully. Can we see the video of this? And hopefully we'll be able to see. Now, look, there's this. It is a bit of a bizarre thing to do. You don't just... He said... It was just, he's just relaxing, and that's the way his hand goes. So you had a theory, didn't you, Alex?
Well, yeah. Well, when I was a teenager at college, there was this silly game with that exact hand gesture in the exact same place that people would play, and it's basically, if you'd spotted it, you'd had to repeat it to someone else, and it would just go around. It's so ridiculously
It's kind of like a chain letter thing of doing a sign with your fingers.
Pinch, you know, you're next sort of thing. Really stupid, but you think maybe it was a dare by his mates.
See, I think that's the best explanation even, because I think that's probably makes sense.
And he wouldn't want to admit that it's a dare by his mates, would he?
Of course not. And also, you're going to go, OK, you're not going to do that. And certainly you're not going to be some white supremacist. Insane. So anyway, we'll see. But it looks like he's fine. He's got away with it. So the next time we'll see.
Keep an eye out.
Do it again. Very quickly, one more for you. I don't know if you saw this. Was late last night. So in the ITV coverage, Karen Carney, pundit, ex-footballer, Wycliffe Jean, who is from Haiti, pop star, came over and made her look a little uncomfortable. Just have a look at this and see what you think of how uncomfortable Karen Carney looks.
I'll shake your hand, man. Psych, nah, man. You messed up, man. You guys done cheated on me. You know we should have won the game. You referee, you set up the game. No.
Oh, that's amazing. What is going on?
See, she just looks like she's just sitting. They're sitting a little uncomfortably as he's sort of like pushing his way through there. I can't understand.
She's over here,
It's just friendly, Ellie. That's all it is, guys. It's just friendly. That's all.
We don't mind. Cozy on in.
That's it. We're a team, aren't we?
You seem more comfortable than she does.
I'm a little bit more.
Well, I'll sit over this side then. I'll sit over this side.
Christ. I thought the whole show was going to go.
Okay, yeah.
No,
what are you saying?
No, it didn't mean like that.
What are you saying?
Probably me more than you.
That'll be the next thing.
Go on, I'm done. You get over to you. I'll just sit with you.
Well, why don't you help us read this bit out, Paul? Because maybe we don't have time to do any more on that. Actually,
okay, fine. I think the sport can be done for now, and we don't forget England play tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate it. I'm going to move back over.
Okay, I think
we're going to go through the papers next, aren't we?
Yes.
But before all of that, here's your European weather.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
A heatwave is building across western parts of Europe at the moment, and that heat is going to be pushing further eastwards through the next few days. Whilst there is a lot of sunshine mixed in with it, and temperatures therefore getting into the mid to high 30s, possibly even low 40s, with that heat, worth bearing in mind, we could see some hefty thundery downpours developing across, well, many areas. Some heavy or more persistent rain affecting Greece as well through tomorrow. Otherwise, it's looking largely dry, often sunny and hot through the end of the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Which of us doesn't like a puffin? Which of us doesn't like a dolphin? I mean, come on, we love these creatures. I bet your fellow guest loves them. Let's ask him, shall we?
OK. Rafe, how do you feel about dolphins?
Yeah, there's nothing uniquely British about the dolphin. There are very few uniquely British species. And the key point here is that it's young nations that use flora and fauna. Nations with a proud history and legacy such as Britain does, we celebrate our past, we celebrate our great achievements. Banknotes are a symbol of national identity, and they are symbols of sovereignty. They rank right up there with the flag, the crown, with our coat of arms, and our honour system as symbols of the British nation. We live in an age now where people are so ignorant of history. Banknotes are one of the very few occasions when people actually get to be introduced to historical figures and learn about them.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
He or she is obliged to write an equality impact assessment for every single policy that Kingston Council does. This person has come up with something which is simply true. Women do more domestic tasks than men. Women like to look nice. This person has stated something true. For this, the Kingston Council has now, and I'll read it out, they've apologised. They've issued a statement. Guess what? They've launched an investigation. And now they're going to review their procedures. I mean, this is a woke doom spiral. And it's the faster we can get away from these equality impact assessments, the public sector equality duty that drives all this, the better.
The People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Dorothea, how does it feel being here today, joining other veterans?
Everybody was so friendly in those days. We had one purpose in life, which was to free the world from Nazism and to get on with enjoying life. And it's so nice now that they're still looking to see if any of us are left, poor old dears, so they can say thank you and we can get together and talk about it. After the war, you simply didn't mention it. It went out of everybody's consciousness.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Right, well, 8 closed grooming gang cases have been referred back to police forces for re-investigation.
Yes, the National Crime Agency is reviewing hundreds of files where potential lines of inquiry may have been missed. We're going through this story and many others in the papers with Chloe Dobbs and James Rampton this morning. Chloe, tell us more about this story.
Yes, so Operation Beacon Port has been allocated $38 million from the government to work with the National Crime Agency to identify and potentially reopen cases that were NFA'd previously between 2010 and 2025, grooming gang cases. You know, there will be a lot of cases that have been NFA'd, pushed aside by the police force that they potentially did not want to investigate further, possibly because they didn't want to be accused of racism. And now we're seeing some starting to be reopened. So 8 have been reopened, and now that is a great step, a great first step, but that is just the beginning of many cases they're potentially going to be looking at, because they identified 1,273 grooming gangs cases that may need to be reinvestigated by police. So hopefully this will continue beyond those 8 as well.
Yeah, I think the worry many people will have, James, is that if 8 is as far as they've got so far, there's a very long way to go for justice, hopefully, in these cases where there has been at least a case of injustice, to be served.
Absolutely. I mean, if you do the maths, that would take decades to investigate the 1,200-odd cases that have been identified as needing to be re-examined. What I would say is it's got to be good news for the victims and their families. They have lived with this dreadful, dreadful crime that's been committed against them for so long and felt neglected and ignored and discarded by society. And the fact that somebody is finally listening to them, somebody is taking them seriously, will be a huge fillip for them, but a huge long way to go, as you say.
I wonder what the victims and survivors think of all of this, Chloe. Do you think they'll deem this all as too little too late?
I think there's a good chance that they will, if they do move at a snail pace and it's something like, you know, takes them, say, a year to get through the first day. We don't know how long this is going to take and how long they're going to ramp it up. But we know with the national inquiry, which victims had to fight tooth and nail to get, that has also moved at snail pace, and it's been watered down in many ways. A lot of people question whether it's actually going to happen and be as thorough and you know, really investigate the ethnicity and potential religious links that it needs to in order to be properly investigated. So I think that there are still plenty of victims who, for their whole lives, have felt like nobody listens to them and nobody believes them, who still feel like they're being treated like that by our politicians.
And I guess, James, the difficulty is we saw not that long ago 9,000 cases being reinvestigated or being reopened similarly here in London after severe pressure. And I think this is the narrative that seems to stick with me. Please tell me if you think I'm wrong. But it seems when this was all brought back into the spotlight, it was a year ago, in January last year, that it's been an uphill battle to drag the government, to drag the powers that be, to really take this seriously, because before this, we weren't even talking about reopening grooming gangs or even having a national inquiry.
No, that's right. And it's always a case throughout history of the establishment protecting itself and not wanting to expose itself to potentially severe criticism. But let's applaud the incredibly tenacious efforts of the victims and their families to say, no, we have been ignored for too long. No, we deserve our day in court, we deserve justice, and to be fair, the government has listened. Yes, it will take a long time, probably far too long, but at least their incredible and laudable actions have had an effect.
And also, the work of GB News has had a significant effect. I think a lot of people would argue that we wouldn't have had a national inquiry if it weren't for the work of this channel, and also, of course, we had Suella Braverman set up the Grooming Gangs Task Force. After that was a recommendation from Charlie Peters's investigation, that documentary that he did. That has made a huge number of arrests and made an enormous difference.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But even going back to this independent inquiry, this national inquiry, it didn't actually officially commence work. Remember, there was all that talk about the scope of the investigation and finding the correct chair until the 13th of April 2026.
Yeah.
So it's really only just begun.
Yeah, it
is painfully slow, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that the concern as well, James, is that as this has taken so long and the failure for the establishment or the government and the authorities to act in a way that actually people deem appropriate for this crimes or the alleged crimes that have been committed, that people fear that it's still happening. And there's been evidence that perhaps, you know, I was reading not that long ago about other things that are happening in Britain today. I don't want to go into too much detail because of the active cases that might be happening today. Different forms.
I mean, with grooming gangs, you would hope that the police and other agencies take it far more seriously now, that young women will be listened to. If they go into a police station and say, this has happened to me, this gang has done this to me. In the past, they were dismissed and accused of being fantasists, addicts, alcoholics, which just amplifies and accentuates the sense of despair that they must have felt. But now I do believe they're being taken seriously, and I really hope that they will get justice, even though the wheels of justice here are turning very slowly.
And if I may just want to ask you this, because you're right, and I do hope especially young women are taken more seriously. When we saw the case of the 12-year-old girl, the Scottish girl from Dundee, the one who was the famous axe and knife case, if you remember that, with the migrants that assaulted her, which has now passed through the courts. That was last week. But the police, again, in that situation, didn't initially take her seriously, and it took the courts to actually say, yes, this young girl was telling the truth.
Yeah, I think that there is still a lot more work to be done with regards to the attitudes in the police. I think James is right to say that the police will take these kind of crimes more seriously now.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you, because we're going to go live now to Evian in France, where Donald Trump has just arrived. He's meeting G7 leaders there. You can see Keir Starmer almost shoulder to shoulder with Donald Trump, actually.
Could be some tense conversations, though, in the next day and a half left at the G7. Talk about free speech. Also, we know that President Trump will not be a fan of this ban on social media for under-16s. The White House was warning about that last week, weren't they? The president is going to have a busy day today, as you can see, starting this session now with G7 leaders, where the focus is very much going to be on Ukraine. He's then got a morning of bilateral meetings with Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. You imagine they're going to be talking about Iran, and later a working lunch with G7 leaders. I was actually reading this morning that Emmanuel Macron has changed the calendar to prepare a banquet tomorrow night in the hope that he can get President Trump to stay for all 3 days of the summit. There are fears, with everything going on with Iran and that signing of the peace deal on Friday, that he won't stay for the full 3 days, but Emmanuel Macron is obviously hoping he will.
If you're listening on radio at the moment, I believe that's the German Chancellor there, has just handed Donald Trump a German football. It says 47, which of course is his. He's 45, 47, isn't he? President there, 45th, 47th president.
Yeah.
And sat next to Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron. They're sandwiched in between those two. And the seating arrangement's always very interesting in these things, because that in itself is political. It's a sign of who is on the side, who is the closest, who's the most powerful. And Vladimir Zelensky there too. Of course, the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, there on the bottom right-hand corner of your screens. If you're listening on radio, quite a lot of them all in attendance there. Donald Trump looking rather cheery as he meets all of those leaders. We also wonder, Ellie, on this, as we have to, Preston having to be asked to leave the room, we do wonder if immigration will be on the table, because Donald Trump does see that as a security threat.
Yeah, he certainly does. The White House have been vocal about that, haven't they? They've also been vocal about the Henry Novak case in recent weeks. There are many tense subjects that could be raised between President Trump and Sir Keir Starmer until tomorrow afternoon. So any developments on that, we will, of course, bring to you here on GB News, so do stay tuned for that.
Yeah, your thoughts on the G7 summit, Chloe?
I think it's going to be pretty embarrassing for Keir Starmer to face Donald Trump after we've just had the resignations of John Healey and Al Kahns because of that pathetic defence investment plan that fails to commit us to 3% of GDP going to defence. And we know Donald Trump has been the main person saying, all of the other NATO nations, you need to do your bit to pay for your own defence. Trump is not going to be happy about that. He looks fairly cheery talking to Starmer at the moment, but they've only just met. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump has a pretty harsh word with Starmer for that defence investment plan.
Perhaps even the whole room.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's been so vituperative about NATO's lack of commitment in terms of GDP to the defence fund, and he may well have a go at everyone there. It's funny, Alex, that you use the phrase Starmer was standing shoulder to shoulder with Trump. That was literally, I don't think metaphorically he is.
Yes, yeah, correct.
I think Starmer will very much be the punching bag this week. He won't be shoulder to shoulder. He may well be crumpled up in the floor in the fetal position. But he's got a lot of serious issues to address with Trump. But there again, the way in which he stood up to Trump at the beginning of the Iran war was very popular. People in this country approved of that. The fact that we didn't go into a chosen war, we said, no, this is not our fight. We don't really think it's worth fighting. And, you know, as this deal may hold, but some people are saying it's cracking already. You know, what was the point of it? All it's done is create a problem over the Strait of Hormuz that wasn't there already and create a more hardline government in Iran. So, you know, I think Starmer's stance on that may be proved correct.
Well, James, this is linked to a story in the Daily Mail and many of the other papers this morning. This peace deal, which is supposed to be signed on Friday with Iran. But there are doubts already, cracks beginning to appear.
Yeah, I mean, sources in Israel are saying that this deal does not bind us in any way because they are maintaining their right to attack Hezbollah in southern Lebanon if they feel threatened. And that is what is causing a great deal of tension between Netanyahu and Trump. There was apparently an expletive-laden exchange between the two leaders the other day because Trump can't get Netanyahu into line. In his eyes, everybody should just fall around fawning when Trump enters the room. And Netanyahu, for better or worse, won't. He's very independent-minded and he's really aware of his domestic audience on this. And he thinks that if he says, oh, we're going to give up on the Lebanon, his domestic audience will not enjoy that at all.
Very, very briefly, your thoughts, very briefly.
I think that there is more optimism about this potential deal that's in theory about to be signed on Friday than there have been previous ones. And if the Strait of Hormuz does open on Friday, we may see the cost of living and petrol prices starting to come down.
Well, let's hope so. Chloe and James, thank you very much for your company today. Thank you.
Still to come, 10 years on since the murder of MP Jo Cox, and Ellie spoke to her husband Brendan Cox amid calls for unity in the UK. We'll be showing that to you next.
But just after your weather.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. A fair amount of cloud and a fair bit of rain for many of us through today. Meanwhile, in the southeast, it's actually going to be pretty hot. That's because we had the best of the dry, sunny weather here. Not necessarily wall-to-wall blue skies. There'll be some hazy sunshine around, high-level cloud, that kind of thing. But a lot of dry, bright weather here. Across many northern and western parts, however, quite cloudy at times, and there will be some outbreaks of rain coming and going as well. Temperatures for many peaking in the high teens, low 20s, but towards the southeast, with that sunshine, we are going to see them getting into the mid to high 20s, so feeling pretty hot for some. Into the evening, staying quite cloudy across much of Scotland, a few outbreaks of rain. Worth noting, it could be a bit blustery at times for northern and western coastal parts in particular. It's a similar story for Northern Ireland, quite cloudy, a few bits of rain coming and going, nothing too heavy. Perhaps some more persistent rain affecting parts of Wales later on, but that will break up as we go through the evening and overnight. Showery bursts across parts of the southwest. Meanwhile, eastern areas staying dry for a little bit longer, but even here a bit of rain will arrive overnight and into Wednesday morning. Otherwise, through into Wednesday morning, quite wet across northern parts in particular, and then eventually towards the southwest, Devon and Cornwall seeing some more persistent rain arriving as we head towards dawn. Temperatures not dropping a huge amount, many places staying in mid-teens Celsius. We have warm air across us, and with all that cloud acting like a blanket, there's no reason for our temperatures to dip. Wednesday's then going to bring some more persistent rain coming in from the southwest across central southern parts of England, clipping into parts of Wales. That could be quite heavy as it pushes further eastwards, and it's going to keep temperatures down in the southeast compared to today. Further north and west, it's kind of a case of a few showery bursts, some sunshine in between, but once more temperatures getting into high teens, low 20s, that kind of thing. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A725 southbound at High Blantyre, traffic is disrupted by a broken down vehicle. Eastbound congestion continues on the M4 at junction 33 near Capel Lanilturn. On the A64 westbound in North Yorkshire between the junctions with the A659 Tadcaster East, drivers face 40-minute delays due to a collision. In West Sussex, heavy congestion on the A27 westbound between the A259 Chichester West and Havant leads to 1.5-hour delays. And on the trains, Greater Anglia reports disruption between Ipswich and Felixstowe. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
There's just 2 weeks left to grab a chance to live the summer of your dreams.
With a totally tax-free £76,543.21 in tax-free cash to be won.
Someone really has to win it, and it could be you.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Brave.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Britain is stepping up pressure on Russia with a major new package of sanctions.
The Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer will unveil the measures at G7 in France, where support for Ukraine is set to dominate talks.
Well, the package targets hundreds of Russian-linked vessels and the networks helping Moscow to fund its war.
Yes, the Prime Minister talking tough on Russia, but will he be in the doghouse with the US President over the proposed ban on social media for under-16s, on immigration and also on defence spending?
Development in the grooming gang scandal this morning. 8 closed grooming gangs cases have been referred back to police forces for re-investigation.
Remembering what it is we've got in common, building that, nurturing it, that's something that we can all do.
10 years on since the murder of the MP Jo Cox, I spoke to her husband Brendan amid calls for unity in the UK.
And the horses are ready, the hats are on, and Royal Ascot is underway as racing's biggest week begins with the traditional royal procession.
There's some hot weather around across parts of the southeast today. Elsewhere, it's looking cloudier, cooler, and also a bit wet at times. I'll have more details coming up.
Good morning, it's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast. Well, more than 600 Russian-linked vessels will be hit with UK sanctions as Britain steps up efforts to cut off funding for Putin's war in Ukraine.
Well, the move comes as G7 leaders gather in France, where Sir Keir Starmer is expected to unveil the new measures.
Well, the package will target Russia's shadow fleet. It's banning its liquefied natural gas shipments and cracks down on financial networks Moscow uses to bypass Western sanctions.
Well, let's speak now to GB News' chief political correspondent, Catherine Forster, who joins us now. Very good morning to you, Catherine. We've just seen G7 leaders sit around that table in France. What is going to be the top topic of discussion?
Yes, we have. And you saw that the Prime Minister was sitting next to the US President with Emmanuel Macron on the other side of Donald Trump. Well, this morning it is Ukraine and European security that is top of the agenda. President Zelensky, of course, already there. He will welcome the sanctions that the UK is announcing on Russia, on those LNG tankers, and also on the fact that we will supply an enriched uranium to Ukraine's nuclear power plants. But then at lunchtime, the focus will move to events in the Middle East. Of course, we have wars on two fronts at the moment, though Donald Trump sounding very optimistic, saying that this memorandum of understanding will be signed by J.D. Vance in Geneva on Friday. He says that the Strait of Hormuz will be fully open, although there's a couple of mines will need removing. Not quite clear if it's going to be as simple as that, or indeed if Iran is going to cooperate as much as Trump is suggesting, but certainly hopeful noises. But there's a lot of pitfalls here at the G7 for the Prime Minister, isn't there? First of all the leaders there will know that he may be on borrowed time, because depending on the outcome of a by-election later this week, somebody may come along and challenge him and take his job. This could very well be the Prime Minister's last G7 that he attends. Also, we know it's very embarrassing that he's turning up there talking tough about defence, given that just last Thursday, his Defence Secretary and his Armed Forces Minister both resigned over the fact that the government is refusing to get to 3% of GDP spent on defence by 2030, something that military bosses, the then Defence Secretary John Healey and many others think is absolutely essential, given that there's threats of Russia attacking a NATO ally by 2030. So that could cause problems with Donald Trump, who has said for many years that European leaders don't pay their way. Also, immigration. We had a spotlight on that last week with events in Belfast. And, of course, the social media ban, which is going to affect US tech companies. All of these very thorny issues that could be about to bite the Prime Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Catherine Forster. They're bringing us up to date on the latest at the G7.
Now, at 9:05, today marks the 10th anniversary since the murder of Conservative MP Joe Cox.
A Labour MP, I believe, actually. But we, of course, spoke to Ellie last night, spoke to Brandon Cox about the legacy of his late wife.
How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I think 10 years is a long time, and it sort of comes both sort of suddenly and incredibly slowly. Obviously, for lots of your viewers will have experienced grief, will experience loss, and anniversaries are weird things. They are moments you can plan for. So in some ways, I find them less hard than moments you can't plan for. I find I often get most upset about Jo out of the blue when something reminds me of her rather than on anniversaries. But it's also a moment where the wider friends, obviously the public in our case, acknowledge what happened to Jo. So it brings it all back. And I guess it also is a moment to reflect on how everybody is, and because of the nature of what happened to Jo, where the country is as well.
Where have you found the strength from? Because you speak so publicly about Jo, you've campaigned for so many years now. It must be difficult for you at times.
It's been difficult. I think at this moment, 10 years on, I'm slightly less optimistic than I have been in the past. Jo is very optimistic person about our country, about our people, and optimism for me has been really important, both because in the sort of early stages, it was important just to keep the show on the road, keep sort of getting up each day. Important also for the kids and the sort of, their view of the future. But I have to say that if you look at what's going on in the country at the moment, I feel less optimistic about that. That doesn't mean I'm not determined. I think I remain as determined. But we are at a stage in our country where people who are trying to pull us apart, who are emphasising our divisions rather than what we have in common. That was the thing that Joe talked about most, of what it is we have in common and how we can build that. I think that balance is shifting in the public environment. Now, I don't think that represents the public. I think the public still believe that what connects us, what unites us, is more important than our differences. But whether it's the online discourse or whether it's our emphasising our differences more, and I think there's real risk there. Like, our country only holds together if we believe in each other, if we are willing to make compromises, if we're willing to build something together. And I think that at the moment feels like it's in the balance.
If Jo could speak to the country today, what do you think she'd be saying? What do you think her message would be?
I think she would say what she said previously, and the thing that she's best known for, that we do have more in common than that which divides us, which isn't to say there aren't things that divide us. There are. We're going to disagree with each other. We're going to fall out with each other. We're going to have robust differences, and we should be able to do that. But if we don't hold on to our commonality, if we don't hold on to what it is that we've got in common, then we don't have a country that can sustain a democracy. We don't have a country that will be able to achieve anything at all. So all of us, we all get caught up in the moment, and we all get hot under the collar about issues that we care passionately about. But remembering what it is we've got in common, building that, nurturing it, that's something that we can all do.
Cox speaking to me last night about his late wife, Jo Cox.
I mean, it's really powerful stuff, isn't it? Because we see this feeling of a rising atmosphere in Britain. What was your biggest takeaway from his interview?
There were a couple of things. One was him speaking about his children, because Brendan has decided to keep his children out of the public eye, which, we can all respect. They were 5 and 3 at the time when Jo was murdered, and they are now teenagers. So, talking about raising his children and how proud Jo would have been of them was very, very moving. I was also struck by when he said that he has lost optimism along the way, because we were speaking there, weren't we, about how much he's done to campaign and speak about Jo, and he wants to see Britain being united and unified. He says he's lost optimism in that. He hasn't given up, but he's lost optimism.
And I don't particularly blame him. When you see the rhetoric rising, even from elected members of Parliament, the rhetoric is so severe. When you see political acts of violence in the news, we see groups attacking warehouses and things like that. A few months back, we see people being attacked for their political views. We used to be able to discuss in Britain our political differences without committing violence, and it seems becoming a bigger and bigger issue.
Yeah, he was talking as well. I'm not sure if it was in that version, but we were also talking about Sir David Amess, who, of course, was killed in his constituency, and we're talking to Alex Burkhardt about that earlier as well. And he was saying that he has a relationship now with Sir David Amess's family. They support one another, and they too are concerned about political discourse and the direction of things in the UK.
Yeah. So David Amess's daughter, of course, campaigning.
Katie,
campaigning, tooth and nail to get an inquiry. And I think actually it would be very revealing, and I think we should be doing inquiries, particularly when our democracy is attacked.
Yeah.
Well
Let
done.
us know what you think. Thank you. Let us know what you think of that interview. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Look, still to come, a major development in the grooming gang scandal this morning. 8 closed grooming gang cases have been referred back to police forces for reinvestigation. We'll be talking about that next here on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At the stroke of midnight, the news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
Day in, day out. Forget stuffy late night TV shows. We're giving you a front row ticket to the centre of the political universe.
Because breaking news doesn't wait for the morning.
And neither do we. Join us for one of the most controversial and volatile times of politics in human history.
A very big story.
Big story over here.
You won't get this anywhere else. The Late Show live at midnight, every night.
Only on GB News.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 14 minutes past 9. Now, 8 closed grooming gang cases have been referred back to police forces for re-investigation.
The National Crime Agency is reviewing hundreds of files where potential lines of inquiry may have indeed been missed.
Well, we're joined now by Marlon West, who is the father of a sexual abuse survivor and a grooming gang victim. Very good morning to you, Marlon. Thank you so much for joining us on GB News Breakfast. What's your reaction to this and grooming gang cases being reopened?
It doesn't surprise me one bit. I've had a read through it this morning, and they're putting this down to human error, which I think is more about cover-up, with my experience. Again, I've said this before, I speak to hundreds of different survivors and families across the UK, and a lot of them have not even had their investigation even open. It's not even got to that point. My daughter being one of them. Even with all the media attention around my daughter, we still haven't got an open case with the police. So this doesn't surprise me one little bit.
And Marlon, as well, you know, you were talking there about this, of course, the horrific case that happens to one of your family members, of course. Do you have faith in the government to deliver justice now?
Absolutely not. You know, I've been campaigning now, I think we're coming up to 4 years. Not all. This needs exposing properly, and there needs to be dedicated police forces within each borough, because the numbers are massive. You know, we're talking 8 cases there. There's a lot more than that. Obviously, I've been involved in the rape gang inquiry, and the number of people we spoke to in there where investigations haven't even started, or they've just been closed.
Context, Marlon, it is worth saying that of these 8 cases that we're talking about today, these 8 closed investigations now being reopened, 1,273 investigations across 23 police forces have already been referred to the National Crime Agency team. That happened in November. Of those, 236 have been prioritised because they involved allegations of rape. So potentially, these 8 cases could just be the tip of the iceberg.
I think there's thousands. You know, again, with people I speak to nationally, I believe there's thousands. What I would say is the Reagan inquiry is going to be published today, which will expose a lot more of this.
And Marlon, what would you like to see be a result of the National Grooming Gang inquiry? What would it need to take from you to feel that justice has been served and that we won't have to repeat, have or see any repeat of these horrific crimes ever again in Britain?
I strongly believe around accountability. Obviously, you know, the people who are grooming the children should go to prison, but also accountability of professionals. And I feel really strongly on this. Where there is clear evidence of covering up of safeguarding and non-discussion for whatever reason, because they don't want to be seen as being racist, prosecutions should happen to professionals.
Do you believe that this is still happening right now in Britain?
This second, as I'm sat here now, this is still happening. And I believe that it's worse than it's ever been. Again, a lot of local authorities, a lot of police forces don't want this to come into the media. However, thank you very much. GB News have been exposing this, and certainly Charlie Peters has. But there needs to be more done. And also, I think it's everybody's responsibility to report this, not just professionals, but the general public as well, because it has to stop.
Marlon, when you talk about a cover-up, are you referencing police, politicians, and do you think there needs to be accountability if there is any truth to those claims of those aforementioned?
Yeah, so I guess I'm talking from local councillors, local authorities and the professionals within that, social workers, police forces, all the civil servants who are aware that this is happening and I've turned a blind eye to it. They should be prosecuted. Because I think if they're prosecuted, then this will help to stop what's going on.
Marlon, I wonder how your daughter feels about this, how she feels about the news that these cases are going to be reopened and re-looked at. I wonder if survivors of this horrific abuse welcome a light being shone on these horrific cases, or whether they just think this is too little too late. They weren't listened to and they weren't believed at the time.
Yeah, so I haven't spoken to my daughter this morning, but she's my daughter, and I know how she thinks. She'll be really angry because what she'll say is, "Why isn't my case been opened? I have given so much evidence." Like, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. She got Snapchat to actually open her media from when she was being groomed. Via San Francisco. So she's got all the evidence, including reg plates, faces of the groomers, and the police have this, yet there's still no investigation. And don't get me wrong, yeah, she's my daughter, I love her very much, but she's no different from a lot of families I'm speaking to.
Yeah, Marlon, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It really is harrowing when we have to talk about these things, but we really appreciate your valour and candour from coming on the show, because this is a nationwide inquiry. We do believe very strongly that a light needs to be shone on it. So thank you for your bravery, and of course to your daughter as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Marlon. And so important to have those conversations as well. Thank you, Marlon.
Really, really is. Yeah, you can understand why so few of the victims and the families of victims have faith in the system now, can't you? You can really understand their trepidation about all of this.
They've been let down time and time again, haven't they?
Yeah.
Look, Britain's Newsroom is coming up at 9:30. Andrew Pearce and Miriam Cates are here to tell us all about it. Morning, you two.
Good morning.
What have you got for us?
So we're going big on grooming gangs. Big story, isn't it?
Yep.
8 cases being reopened.
Yep.
There's a clamour, and as I think you were saying earlier, Ellie, is at the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, well, I think over 1,200 cases were referred to Operation Beacon Ports. Obviously, this is just the first step, but we'll be talking to Charlie Peters about that and the significance of these first 8 cases.
And we're doing an interview with a KC who's written a remarkable book saying there's life out there.
Oh,
there
yeah.
are UFOs, and he says he's got the evidence. He says he would stake his legal reputation on it. He's a very eminent Casey, and he says Donald Trump knows and has been covering up information about.
You know, I love this stuff.
It's fascinating.
I love it.
And he's a really clever, and the book is already heading to the bestsellers list. I can't wait to talk.
Well, some of us are more sceptical than others on this. Apparently they're not called UFOs anymore.
No.
I was reading this morning. UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Aerial phenomena? Anonymous
Who knows?
phenomena?
Anyway, we'll be
something like
discussing
that.
And of course, where is the Prime Minister? Not in 10 Downing Street. He is in France. G7 summit, could it be his last? And what will Donald Trump have to say to him about the social media ban for under 16s? Could be a big loss of income for US tech companies.
Could be quite a few awkward conversations at the G7.
And people are already saying the social media ban is unravelling already.
Yes.
We'll see.
No detail, because we know why he rushed it out, because there's a rather big political event happening this week.
Yeah, and it's been met with applause from Emmanuel Macron last night on Twitter.
Well,
he said, welcome to the movement.
Yeah, well, they have been trying to get under 15s, I think it is in France, off social media for some time now, after huge concerns about economic, educational performance and things like that.
So he wants to protect 16-year-olds from social media, but he also wants to give them the vote.
Well, that is ridiculous.
Bonkers, isn't it?
Doesn't it just sum it up?
Maybe they should ditch one of the two policies.
No logic whatsoever.
So, yes, we've got lots of that coming up, and, of course, some live speeches from the G7 summit, which, as I said, could be Starmer's last. We'll see who will be there next time.
And we're going to get some weather. I think it's raining again, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be hot soon.
I was hoping for a heat wave.
Here's your weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. A fair amount of cloud and a fair bit of rain for many of us through today. Meanwhile, in the southeast, it's actually going to be pretty hot. That's because we have the best of the dry, sunny weather here. Not necessarily wall-to-wall blue skies. There'll be some hazy sunshine around, high-level cloud, that kind of thing, but a lot of dry, bright weather here. Across many northern and western parts, however, quite cloudy at times, and there will be some outbreaks of rain coming and going as well. Temperatures for many peaking in the high teens, low 20s, but towards the southeast, with that sunshine, we are going to see them getting into the mid to high 20s, so feeling pretty hot for some. Into the evening, staying quite cloudy across much of Scotland, a few outbreaks of rain. Worth noting, it could be a bit blustery at times for northern and western coastal parts in particular. It's a similar story for Northern Ireland, quite cloudy, a few bits of rain coming and going, nothing too heavy. Perhaps some more persistent rain affecting parts of Wales later on, but that will break up as we go through the evening and overnight. Showery bursts across parts of the southwest. Meanwhile, eastern areas staying dry for a little bit longer, but even here, a bit of rain will arrive overnight and into Wednesday morning. Otherwise, through into Wednesday morning, quite wet across northern parts in particular, and then eventually towards the southwest, Devon and Cornwall, seeing some more persistent rain arriving as we head towards dawn. Temperatures not dropping a huge amount, many places staying in mid-teens Celsius. We have warm air across us, and with all that cloud acting like a blanket, there's no reason for our temperatures to dip. Wednesday's then going to bring some more persistent rain coming in from the southwest across central southern parts of England, clipping into parts of Wales. That could be quite heavy as it pushes further eastwards, and it's going to keep temperatures down in the southeast compared to today. Further north and west, it's kind of a case of a few showery bursts, some sunshine in between, but once more temperatures getting into high teens, low 20s, that kind of thing. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A725 southbound at High Blantyre is partially blocked by a broken down vehicle. Heavy congestion affects the A4232 from St Fagans to the M4 at junction 33. The A19 southbound at Durham flows well despite one lane closing on the exit slip to the A182. Allow extra time on the M25 clockwise at junction 14 in Surrey, where a crash has closed a lane. The A27 westbound in West Sussex faces delays of around 40 minutes. And on the trains, cross-country faces disruption between Doncaster, Moorthorpe and Wakefield Westgate. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
More and more people are now tuning in to GB News.
They shape our programmes, we try and incorporate them in our shows as much as we can.
Our audience are really interactive.
Our listeners, our viewers, they're growing. And that's because they tell their friends and family about what we're doing here at GB News.
It feels like the depth of that connection has strengthened as well.
Thank you so much for speaking to us on GB News. Come